Oh, aye, no worries. I'll be up there in a minute. Just finish off the section and then head up to his office.
So he, well, you know where his office is. He doesn't need to escort you up there. When you approach it, you can see there's two cops in the office. Typical policeman uniform at the time. Those big tipped helmets and the tight jackets. Wooden truncheon in their belt. One of them's about 6 foot tall, fairly broad, and he looks to be in his 20s, quite a young guy, with a stylish moustache for the time. The other one looks a little older, maybe mid-30s, light brown hair, blue eyes. He's not as tall or as quite as broadly built. And when you enter the office, the one in his 30s kind of stands up from the desk and says, Mr. Cummings?
Officers, good day to you. What can I do for you?
Yeah, you escorted a young lady to a women's refuge a few days ago, I believe.
Okay, she was in some mess, she was. She alright?
If you don't mind taking a seat, we just want to ask you a few questions.
Just proper plant himself down on one of the seats.
The younger guy circles around you to the door and puts his snib on the door and stands in front of it, facing into the room with his arms crossed. The other one sits on the table, kind of in front of, beside you, facing you. He puts his head down and takes off his helmet, and when his face raises up again, he has a completely different face. It looks like a man in his mid to late 50s. It's a very hard and angular face with dark eyes. And immediately you feel the sensation of he's much larger than he appears physically. And when he speaks to you, he speaks with a much older, more gravelly kind of voice.
His pal's eyes will sort of furrow slightly, bit of a perplexing change of complexion.
Mr. Cummings, I've become tired of this cat and mouse game with you and your friends. I'd like you to tell me today where they are.
I can easily tell you that. Which friends are you wanting to know about? Chances are there's a fair few down the pub, there's a fair few in the mines.
I think you know the ones I'm referring to.
Few.
The widow, Mrs. Potts, the criminal, Finlay, and the Irishman, who seems to have a most interesting affliction.
Oof. Last I saw of him was a few days ago. And last I remember, they were up somewhere. I think Mallaig it was. I think Mallaig's the last I saw him.
Mr. Cummings, I know you and your friends visited Arkwright in Glasgow. And I'm assuming that Mrs. Potts has something to do with his excavation that he's been paying for up north. I believe Dr. Bennett is a colleague of hers. So, the links are obvious, Mr. Cummings.
Are they now? Well, you need to ask Mrs. Potts. I'm afraid I'm not privy to Mrs. Potts' friends. You'd need to ask her yourself.
Well, so far she has eluded us, and we're not quite certain of her whereabouts at the moment. And this is where you come in, because I want you to find her and bring her and the rest of your friends to me. Or at least the stone that they have in their possession.
A stone? And why would you want a stone?
Oh, come, Mr. Cummings, you don't need to play coy. You're very well aware, especially if you're mentioning Mallaig.
Well, the reason I'm saying it is you're in a quarry. We could easily find you some nice, pretty stones for you to take for your missus. And you too. And he turns to look at the copper at the door.
He slams one of his hands down hard on the table, and the table cracks a little bit under the force. You know exactly what stone I'm talking about, Mr. Cummings. It's a very ancient artifact, and one that I desire most. You'll bring the stone and your Irish friend to me within the next 48 hours. In fact, let's make it Monday morning, prompt and sharp.
And just what makes you think I'm gonna find your pretty little trinket and not crush it under a heavy weight.
Because I'm sure you have a great many loved ones, Mr. Cummings. Not least of all your wife and family.
Oh, you've never met them if you're trying to imply a threat there. Oh, you can try better than this. If you're going to try and threaten me, then obviously you're a lot weaker than you look. I'm a simple man. I'm a miner. And apparently I'm intimidating you with this malarkey. He just starts laughing.
He kind of points at you with one hand, the middle and the index finger extended, and he slowly curls them in towards his palm. And as he does so, you can feel that horrible itching, scratching you had in your eye before increase in intensity until the point where it feels like it's going to claw into your eyeball and cause it to explode. You could take a pain.
Okay. And with that, probably immediately I imagine he tries to keep laughing for a while, and then the pain ramps up, and eventually he falls to the floor, clutching at his eye.
I see, Mr. Cummings. I know you've already been touched by the energies afflicting your friend.
I think H, because I lost my footing or position by falling onto the floor.
He relaxes his hand and the pain fades. Monday morning, Mr. Cummings, sharp and early. And he motions to the other constable. And he puts the helmet back on, and as he does, his face changes back to the face of the constable that was there before.
Oh, constable, as he's still on the floor, just before you go.
Yes.
You said to bring him on Monday. Where am I bringing so I can stick my boot right up your fucking arse?
Oh, he kicks you once in the ribs for good measure. Take another pain.
Sort of cry out in pain.
The police station, of course. And then the two of them walk off.
Wonderful.
You'll recover those pain in an hour or so.
I got me close. I got me very close to a gut check. Does that mean the other pains that I've had will have... No, I didn't have any other pains because pains fade over a while. It's stress and wounds that don't.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well, after the shift, he'll probably go to Hilda and he'll tell Hilda about what's happened and the threats and such. And probably seek guidance from her for the next step. Maybe these people want a stone, and...
Oh, well, if it's just a stain, just give it to him.
I think they want me the stain. If they want the stone, they're also so obsessed with Mildred. You know, the widow that you met. I'm obsessed with her. Give me a right good kick as well. And he sort of lifts up his shirt to show this big blistering bruise that he has on the side of his stomach.
I mean, it's the police, Paul. What can you do?
You raise a good point. I wonder if they're still up in Inverness. I should go up there. See if I can get this stain off of them. There's a wanted key in as well. It's a right mess, this is.
Are you sure you can find them if they're up there? Are you sure they're actually still going to be there? I mean, it's been a day now.
I have no idea. The last I saw of them was Mildred said that she was getting off at Inverness. I just, as you know, I stayed on the train.
Well, how did you get a hold of them the first time?
I guess I could try and buzz around a couple of the hotels and see. So I was just wondering if Mildred would have told Paul where she was staying.
They changed where they were staying after that happened. But you would have known that she had called the university and that's how she got in touch with them in the first place.
I guess the way I'd see it is probably there'd be a bit more discussion with Hilda. He'll then head off to whoever has the phone to call the university after a wonderful rigmarole of him trying to find the right person there. Maybe gets through to the archaeology department to try and find out where Mildred's gone.
So the archaeology department is empty because all the people that work there are like gone or missing.
You're dead, eaten, devoured.
Most of the students are away as volunteers at the dig site. It's not a very big department in the first place in that university. But she had contact details that Finlay and Keane had left there previously for where they were staying. And she knows that Mrs. Potts had called in, and she'd passed on that information to her previously. I think Hilda will take the kids and like go to her sisters or something just so that they're not where the police might think they are.
Yep. I guess then Paul will head off to the accommodation for Finlay and Keane and hope that he's able to follow the trail from there.
So for Mildred, Finlay and Keane, yous were staying where after the castle?
In Aberdeen.
Yeah, I think we went there as it was the nearest big settlement.
Yeah, so yous are in like a B&B or something in Aberdeen. You've stayed overnight there. And Keane, you've had another interesting dream.
Oh, did I?
That night when you slept, you dreamt of an old man and a young woman holding hands and chanting your name together. Although the sound was of two voices, it was as if it was one person speaking to you. They speak your name and they ask for your help. When you wake up in the middle of the night, Keane, they are there in your bedroom. You would immediately recognise the young woman as Maggie from Arkwright's house.
Yeah, I guess just as a quick instinct, I look for Bruce.
Imagine he's outside. I don't think they would let you keep him in the B&B.
Oh yeah, fair enough. I forget. Yeah, I think Kian just sort of is tired and angry still from the other day and is just looks at them. Do I know if I recognize the older guy? I recognize Maggie, but do I recognize him?
I'm trying to think if you actually saw him. You did see Arkwright, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw Arkwright.
Okay, briefly. Yeah, you recognize him as Arkwright. The two of them are also kind of semi-opaque, like kind of transparent, and at times when they're standing there, they're kind of overlaid on top of each other.
I try to shout, "Go away."
They both get down on their knees and they thank you for freeing Matthew, your devoted servant. They thank you for giving him the gifts that you've given him and the blessings you've given him. And they pledge their lives, or re-pledge their lives to you in service. And they ask, how can they help you? How can they aid you?
Yeah, Kian just is dumbfounded.
A dark shadow is cast above you, just like a pool of pitch black above you, and you can hear it whispering to them in the same voice that whispers to you sometimes from inside you. It says to them, "At the alignment, I may once again ascend. My vessel must be present, and a vessel must be made in sacrifice. See to my ascension, my servants, and I will gift you the gift you seek."
So I am definitely being ignored then by both them and the entity.
At this point, you're not sure if they can even actually see you. If you, the thing, the pool above you, starts to explain to them where you are just now. So do you want to try and force it down to keep it quiet?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to be a willing vessel. This is some bullshit. I'm pissed off.
So it's 2 dice for your fitness, I think.
Yes. Oh my god.
Do you have luck, and do you want to use it?
Yeah, I've got 8 luck. I'll burn a little bit. I mean, what's the bare minimum I need?
3 will bump it to a 4.
Okay, yeah, I'll. What the heck? It's the last one. Might as well spend it.
With some effort, you will take a stress from this. With some effort, you're able to push the voice back inside you and stop it from like divulging your entire location. It lets out that you're on the East Coast, but it doesn't let out the city or the hotel that you're in. So they only have a very vague idea of where you are.
Fair enough. And you said it was a stress?
I think a stress, yeah. Which I know takes you quite high up.
Well, yeah, I'm already at 3, so might as well. Ooh, you know what? Fuck it. I enter a panic.
So I'm assuming you're in a different room from the others, or were you sharing a room with Finley or Mildred?
I think when we left off, I can't remember if we agreed to share a room, but I can't remember if that was like before or after the incident.
I mean, you just can decide now what your arrangement was.
I think we were sharing, like we always share. So.
Okay, so maybe when he shouted the first time, you kind of, the two of you sort of roused a little bit. And now when he goes into the full-blown panic, you're both awakened by Kian just going mental in the room.
Yeah, I'm trying to like get dressed and pack up my things, and I've just gotta go. I've gotta get out.
Okay, Kian. We can leave. That's fine.
No, you don't understand. They're talking to it. Fucking, I don't know how they're doing it, but they're talking to it, and it almost told them where we were. It almost did, but they know we're somewhere around here. They're looking for us. They're asking for us, and the fucking thing in my head is telling them.
Well,
We have to get out of here. We have to find somewhere to hide and just. I have to go. I can't be here.
Finley, we'll have to go. If you got your stuff, Finley, we need to kind of go if he's wanting to go. So.
That's fine. I think we need to look out for Kian at this time.
I don't mean for you all to. I have to leave. It's wanting me.
Yeah, but we want to look after you and make sure that you're okay. So
I'm
we'll come
not
with you.
okay. I'm never going to be okay, Mildred.
But there must be somehow we can get this thing out of you, So
I think for a moment, Kian stares at his shotgun for a bit too long.
can I is there any sort of witch doctors in Aberdeen?
Do you know a lot of
I'm
witch
just
doctors in
saying.
Aberdeen?
Like there's
Might be some good
like
quacks.
yeah, but there's how like sometimes like there's summoning the spirit and getting rid of the spirit,
Given the time period, you might be able to find a medium.
Yeah, I'd like to go and find a medium. Does anyone feel the same?
Although it is like the middle of the night right now.
I mean, we can try in the morning. But, I think in the meantime, if I see that Keen's looking at the shotgun, I'll give him try and shake him out of it. Just be like, get a hold of yourself. We can get through this. We're still together. We've come this far. We can get through this. There must be a way out.
I'll get the sherry.
It's so exhausting.
Take some sherry. I've got some sherry here. Take some.
I'm so tired. I'm hungry, and I just
have some sherry.
I can't fucking take this anymore, guys. It's in my head, and we let it out. I let something out, and
we need to find how to seal this thing away. I think it's our only chance. I mean, we have there's a note that we got from the Corbett house with a note of some kind of like exorcism on it. Would there be any point in trying that to see if it would help you?
Yeah, let's try that. Have you got it up?
Yeah, I've got the note in front of me. Should we try reading it and to see if it would help any?
Yeah. What one is it on the journals?
It's just down as Latin note.
Okay. So shall we start now? Yeah.
Can give it a try. If Kian's in pain with it, it's may as well try it just now, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, right now he's busy himself with the sherry.
Let's do it now. Vos per nomen
nahalo
exorcizo sapetiam opetiam ferentem quis maestas tam excelsa clarior quam sedera enanis te exorciso o demon omnio impero quacum in parte si universi per omnium
horum
nominium virtutem aude et ringlinco me.
Kian, it feels like your insides are tearing themselves apart, twisting around in agony. You take a pain and fall to the floor, dropping the sherry, smashing it on the floor.
Oh yeah, I definitely cry out in pain.
Did you try it again? Just keep trying it?
I think we're going to need to try and find something stronger, but it seems like we're on the right lines, but we need to find if perhaps this isn't a complete inscription, perhaps there should be more.
The window blows open and a fierce wind starts to circle the room, and it gets stronger and stronger, knocking over mirrors and vases.
Should we, in the morning, go to see the medium and maybe do that? Maybe they have some stuff as well that, for exorcism,
At this point, I'm willing to try anything, but I think we need to do something for Kian and soon, or it's only going to get worse from here on in.
Would there be any late night mediums? You know how, like, in these sort of areas, you can get not the dodgy, but you know what I mean, as in, like, there's places open late at night that's
Yeah, because that's not shady at all.
Or maybe just someone holding a seance very late at night, perhaps.
Yes. Is there anywhere that we could just, like, find that out? Aberdeen must be something, like, is that not? Yeah, but they would have, like, sort of some sort of pagan thing, would they not, or something
It's-
like that? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Stereotypical. Give me a 2 dice roll, Mildred. Yeah, Finley, you can roll 1 dice because you're helping. Imagine you're just like waking up staff and asking them, oh yes.
Ooh, you got a 6.
Mildred, you managed to like annoy enough of the staff that they're telling you if you don't go back to bed just now, you can just get the fuck out. Fortunately for Finley,
Jeez.
Finley, being the outdoorsman and the man of the of the everyday person, you go outside and like there's like a night watchman or someone having a pipe outside, and you like strike up a conversation with him. And he's like, oh yes, you want to talk to old Mary?
Mary, you say?
Yeah.
Where might we find her?
Old Mary, she's like a healer woman. She does seances and spirit stuff like that, and he gives you an address, which is kind of on the outskirts of town.
Thanks for your help.
Shall we just go? Yeah, because if it's outskirts of town, by the time we walk and everything,
I think maybe we should wait until it's daylight before we set out, but yeah, probably go as soon as we can.
If you want
Yeah.
to wait, Keen will recover his pain. If you go straight away, he'll be going with the pain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I think we
let's
definitely give him a
recover
break,
the
yeah.
pain. Yeah.
So you just go back to the bedroom and try to stay quiet until dawn. Keen, you can recover your pain.
Don't mind me, still have 4 stress.
Dawn comes, and the sherry's wearing off by that point, and you're a little bit of a hangover to go along with the night of restless sleep and all the stress you've amount. That's acute.
Let's get him some breakfast before, breakfast to go so that he's got some strength.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to need it for the day ahead.
Yes, I mean, despite your disruption the night before, they're hospitable and will make sure you get well fed in the morning as part of your accommodation.
I tried to explain it away by saying that he's seen some terrible things during the war. Has that effect on a man?
Oh, that would definitely have sympathy, yeah. They might even, Keen, give you like extra food and coffee.
Yeah, I feel like Kian's definitely looking rougher than he's ever been. And he's just staring off into deep space, just in his own head for a bit, trying to make sense of anything.
Do you want to... I mean, you know that Paul's away in Dalkeith. You also know that he doesn't have a phone in his house. Would you make an attempt to try and contact her at this point to try and let him know what's happened, or are you too preoccupied with what's going on right now?
What do you guys think?
I think we probably should try and get in touch with Paul if we can, but how we would go about it, I'm not sure. Would we be able to phone his? Would there be like a representative at the mine we could phone? You?
Could we not phone his wife?
Like, he wouldn't have a phone in his house.
Right, okay, yeah. Could we not just phone the mines is probably best.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Finlay, you can find a telephone in the hotel probably, and ask the operator to put you through to the mine Dalkeith, and you'll go through probably a couple of different offices down there before you get to the section where he's supposed to be assigned to. And when they answer the phone, they tell you that he's due to come in for a shift later today, because this is now the Saturday where he gets interviewed.
I think I would just ask if he could get in touch with us. I guess if we're just going away from the B&B, it's probably not going to be the best place to get in touch with us. But I'm not sure. Is there somewhere we could be later on in the day? Maybe like a local hotel bar or something that we could go to that would have a phone where they could maybe contact us.
Yeah, we'll say 4 o'clock or something that we're in a pub or something.
Sure,
Okay.
that sounds good.
Sure, okay, so you give them a time and a place and ask for them to pass that on, which clearly they don't do at the start of his shift, or maybe he's already started his shift, and they can't go down there and give it to him. Yeah, so Paul, wherever you go to make the phone call to the university, after you get off the phone to the university, one of the office staff, or somebody who's been in there in administration, will come along with a note for you, a message that was left earlier that morning, and it has the contact details and the time for when you can get in touch with the others.
Oh, that's just convenient. I was just looking for this.
Okay, but you just go to see Old Mary.
Yes.
Okay. I like how you asked for someone that's going to be there in the middle of the night, and then you just go down first thing in the morning. When she's obviously going to be sleeping. So it's just like a little terraced house on the outskirts of town. Very unassuming, very working class. Everybody else is shuffling off to work at this time. No, wait, sorry, this is, yeah, Saturday, everyone will be shuffling off to work. Yes, in the place, there's no light on, curtains are drawn. You knock on the door a couple of times, and this old woman opens up the upstairs window. Shouts out, "What are you wanting?"
Are you Mary?
I am Mary. I'm not open this early.
Can you make an exception? I've got some coin.
As if it's like a medieval sheriff town or something.
Jingle this bag of shillings.
I have coin.
Khajiit has wares if you have coin.
Okay, so she closes the window, and after a few moments, she answers the door. She looks like she's got some mobility issues. She's a little kind of hunched over and shrunken looking. But she has a very bright and pleasing face, despite, the years of age on her.
Finlay, do you want to take it?
Actually, can I just, real quick, could I have, before we had gone over to Mary's, could I have checked on Bruce and also, if he's alright, bring him with us?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Bruce is quite happy, yeah. He's a little unsure of you still, when you approach him and stuff, but he's not growling or anything like that. He just doesn't seem to be as at ease as he would be normally.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm still trying to keep him as close as possible now.
Yes, then she'll, compliment him when she sees him. She'll, "Oh, a lovely dog," and pet him. So what kind of emergency is this then?
This is going to sound terribly strange, I'm sure, but we believe our friend is suffering from the ill effects of some kind of curse. We've been through a lot of terribly strange events lately, and it seems the only, as unbelievable as I'm sure it must sound, it seems the only explanation for what we've seen and heard over the past few days, and we were hoping that you might be able to do something to alleviate his current position.
Oh, aye, I can see it now. And she looks at Mildred and holds her hand and puts one hand on her cheek and like pulls your eyelid down a little bit. She says, "Oh yeah, Ken, you look terrible. I can see the trauma and the danger that floats around you."
Kian just straight up out loud says, "Oh, for fuck's sakes."
No, it's not me. It's this gentleman here.
She gives you a hard stare in the eye. She says, "No, dear, it's definitely you."
Me?
No, the fuck it's not. She ain't got the thing in her head.
You lost someone recently, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And it hurts your heart. It's deep within you. I can see it. The pain.
Yes, but we're looking for the gentleman. He has the spirit in him, the bad spirit.
She gives you a look over Kian. She says, "Well, let's see what we can do." She takes you into the drawing room where there's a circular table with a crystal in the middle, and she asks you to sit. So, what's your name, son?
Kian O'Doyle.
So, Kian, tell me about this spirit. Is it a malevolent spirit?
Well, it's definitely not polite. Look, just be straight with us. Is this a sham, or can you actually help me?
I can try and help you, son. It's not always up to me what happens. So is this a spirit you know? Is it someone you wronged in the past, or what?
No, it's certainly something far older.
We believe it to be some kind of ancient being that there's an organization have been trying to invoke in the central belt area of the country, and we think that somehow or other it has possessed our friend here instead.
A demon or a heathen spirit from a foreign land?
Something of that nature, yes. We believe it may have some kind of connection to ancient Egypt, but that's just speculation based on notes that we took from the organization.
I see. Is there any other?
They called it Nefren Ka.
That's a funny name, isn't it? Do you have any other important information or clues as to, the relevance it has to your friend here?
He wore a ring that the spirit was stuck in. So yeah.
Oh, do you have the ring?
I don't. It left this burn on my finger.
Oh, well, that can't be right. No, if it was attached to the ring, it wouldn't do that to you. And it certainly wouldn't be here after the ring is left. Is there anything else?
We have a stone, but we can't go near him with it because it causes him pain.
Well, that's interesting. Could I see the stone? Do you have it with you? Don't put it near him. Just hold it on the other side of the table there.
I'd like to just keep it. Thanks. I'll just hold on to it, but I can show you it.
Yes, that's perfectly fine. You need to hold one hand. I could hear you talking in the other room, but I couldn't hear you on the mic.
Oh, I just show the stone.
And again, keying the presence of the stone out. You know, you have to avert your eyes because it's painful. She like holds her hand over the stone, waves it back and forth, and strokes it a little bit if you let her. And closes her eyes with the hand on it. There's certainly a powerful energy in this stone. It has an aura like a person would.
Do you think we should destroy the stone?
I cannot say. I don't know the nature of it. I'm not getting the sensation that it's inherently evil on its own, but it does feel incomplete, as if it's not all here.
Is there anything that you can, if there's a spirit in the stone, is there something you can do to get rid of it?
Well, I'm not sure about that, dear, but let's try and see what we can find with your friend Keen. If you wouldn't mind putting your hands on the crystal.
Alright, let's get this over with. Kane will put his hands on the crystal.
So she puts her left hand across the top of the crystal, so it's touching both of your hands as well as the crystal. She says, now just close your eyes, Keen, and try to relax. Try to let whatever it is that's affecting you come to the fore, and let it speak to us. Let it tell us its name. Let it tell us what it wants, what it desires. Are you going to do that, Keen?
I will. Yeah, Keen will straight up say, I really don't think that's a good idea, Mum.
It's okay, Keen. The spirits cannot harm us. They are just spirits.
Right. That's from what I've seen of this thing, that's very wrong.
The spirit that possesses him seems capable of great violence. We witnessed it before, I'm sorry to say.
Does this violence manifest around you, Keen? Or is it something that comes... Is it something you're enacting?
It's making me do it.
I see. So perhaps Keen, just relax, let your mind empty, let it fill with darkness, and just let it come out and speak. Let it tell us what it wants.
Do you think we should maybe, have you got some rope and stuff? Maybe we should, like, tie him to the chair or something, because then, if he was, is it not best to just kind of have him tied up and then we can do this?
She takes her hand off and opens her eyes. She said, I feel like you're being very negative and perhaps a tad too fearful here. Your friend is not going to hurt us, are you, Keen? So I think this is a place of calm and friendship. We just want to hear what it wants. We want to hear what the problem is, and then we can perhaps aid it in helping it pass through.
Do you have any, like, stones? You have these crystal things that, maybe calm it or something? Do you have anything like that?
If it makes you feel more secure, I have something. She goes into the kitchen and brings back a big tub of salt, and she puts a circle of salt around Keen.
Yes, that would make me feel better.
Can I just... I know there's not really like...
I'm surprised you didn't put a ring of salt round Mildred.
Right. I know there's not really like an insight check, but can I get any sort of read on this woman? Like, is she working for the wrong people?
Sure.
Is she
So what's your appearance?
My appearance is neutral. I don't have anything either way. Okay, fair enough. I will indeed do that. Right. There's a shotgun in my bag. If anything happens, just
Oh Lord, you
end
wouldn't
it.
you wouldn't need a weapon. That's ridiculous. A gun? No.
Finley, have you got a gun?
The woman is looking visibly nervous now.
I don't know. Would I still have a gun at this point?
You had your sawn off.
Okay, yeah. In that case, I would have it with me, but covered up. So yeah.
Oh, we're just taking precaution. We wouldn't harm anybody.
She definitely seems more scared of you guys and what you might do than anything else.
Okay, well let's go through.
That's really just not helping my confidence.
Okay, Kane, this is going to be fine. Everyone just stay calm and just relax, okay? We're just going
Is there any words that we need to say?
we'll just ask the spirit to come out, and if he wants to speak, he'll speak, and then we can see what the problem is and help it pass through. I've done this many times. There's nothing to worry about. It can't harm us. We're in a safe space here. Okay, Keen, will we try this again?
Yep, alright. And I will attempt to do what she says.
Okay, so you're relaxing, you're letting your guard down, you're easing the wall inside you that you've kind of put up. Almost immediately, the dark energy within you surges forward, and you can feel it as if it's like a rush of blood, you know, coming to the fore in your face. And for the rest of you, you can see Keen's eyes go black, and his face kind of twist and contort in like an unnaturally horrid kind of fixture. The woman sits back in shock and audibly yelps with surprise as this thing growls and hisses at her like an animal, although Keen is still fixed there with his hands on the ball, and his body doesn't move. His head is just kind of twisting side to side like a snake. And she says, "Oh my goodness gracious. Spirit, what is your name?" And the thing starts to talk in a clicking, guttural sound, which could supposedly sound like a language, but it's nothing anyone here understands. Keen, you, like, with every inch of your body, you feel like your muscles want to just lunge forward and tear into this woman and rip her apart and gorge on her heart. But for some reason, you're kind of like frozen in place and you cannot move.
Like it's not even me that's keeping myself back. It's
Correct.
something
Yes.
else.
It's as if you're just like locked in place.
Okay, well, I guess wherever I am inside of my head, I do take a. Oh, okay, that's nice at least.
From your vantage point, Kian, you can see the stars in the sky. You can see the alignment of the planets, and almost like the ticking of a clock, you can see that it's getting close to the important hour, the point where everything lines up just perfectly.
Yeah, I guess I just sort of sit there because I don't think there's really anything I can do, but I do just sort of whisper out loud in this strange space, whatever happens, I'm gonna stop you.
And for the rest of you, you can hear a deep, guttural voice say, "Whatever happens, I will stop you." The woman looks visibly frightened. She's kind of like lean back in her chair, almost as if she's sort of frozen in space, and she's stammering with her words, trying to get it out as she tries to address the spirit, to ask it, what do you want? How can we help you move on? Where can we take you? And Keen just like hisses at her like an animal, and then recoils backwards, and Keen's eyes go pure white, and then his eyes roll forward normally, and it goes back to just being him again.
Did we see the exorcism words?
You can.
If he's back to seemingly like normal for now, we maybe wait and see if he starts to behave strangely. We could always try it.
The one like sees that Keen is back, and she puts her hand back on the ball, touching him, and says, "Keen, are you there, Keen?"
The thing just sort of let go of control.
It's
let
back.
Me.
Yeah, it gave you control as it went back into yes.
Yeah. That's a new one.
I've also never experienced such a thing. But this is.
I mean, I did try to warn you, Mary. I really did.
I understand now. Yes. This is. This is something else. This is not the kind of spirit we normally deal with. This is not a person. This never was a person.
Okay, so is there anyone in the supernatural world that we can speak to?
I don't think anyone's ever seen anything like this before. No one that I know, at least, anyway. Oh, you poor boy. I feel so sad for you.
Well, yeah, thank you for that, Mary. I really appreciate the pity.
But if it entered you, there must be a way for it to leave. It's not trapped inside you. It's there voluntarily. It's waiting for something. Or someone or some place. There's a reason why it's staying inside you as it is.
So it's not trapped in me.
No, it's choosing to be in you. I mean, it might be hiding from something. It might be resting. But whatever the reason is, it doesn't have to be there. It could easily come out whenever it wishes.
Yeah, Kian just sort of balls up his fists and just seethes for a second.
I think. Can you tell me more, Keen, about how it came to be in you? Or perhaps from that we can work out what it's waiting for.
Yeah, I saw everything. It quite literally showed me everything that it's done, that it's seen. Kian will look to Finley and Mildred. We were on rum, and it was trapped on that mountain. The man, Michael Thomas, Burn Man, he was Michael Thomas, and he managed to cage the thing, but it toyed with his mind and turned him into this puppet. And when we arrived on the island, it used him to lure us. And whenever you killed Michael Thomas, the the door opened and it went into me. And now Arkwright and Maggie are talking to it, asking where we are. And the door that I unlocked yesterday apparently also let something out. I can only push it away for so long. I thought that maybe it was trapped inside me, but now I'm just apparently just a temporary vessel. But there's somewhere it wants me to be at a very special time that is apparently coming very soon. So apparently even killing me isn't going to stop it.
So, Finley.
I was going to say, would having the crystals, like some, protection crystals on him, would that help?
The woman nods, says, I can certainly give him an amulet that might help strengthen his will against it. I don't know how useful it will actually be if this thing is determined, but I can certainly do that, yes. And she scurries off to one of the cupboards and starts going through a drawer of different pendants and amulets.
That's the crazy part too. It let go of control. It's always been fighting me, and now it's just choosing to let me be in control. That's what scares me the most.
She nods and says it's feeling stronger, I would think, or more confident. Like you said, the time's getting close. It must know that it's not long until it can do whatever it wants.
Is there any sort of metals or anything like that for spirits, for otherworldly spirits?
There are several. I have some here we could try. She gives you a crystal. It's a kind of bluish purple crystal keying on a string to wear around your neck. That's kind of.
Does it seem to have like any sort of effect that I can feel?
It's a slight calming effect on you, but that could just be placebo. She also gets
He's not buying into everything still.
Yeah. She also gets some little squares of metal out, and she lays them on the table, and she goes, you can try touching these, keen, to see if they have any effect. This one is iron, this is copper, and she goes through, a bunch of different metals.
Yeah, kind of just sort of like whatever. He'll try to touch each and every one.
They're all fine except for.
Not really believing.
Sorry, they're all fine except for there's a very, very small one that is quite chrome looking. When you touch that, it stings and burns the same way that the ring did.
Ow.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't actually think that would have an effect.
What is that?
It's and she checks her notes. It's a iridium. It's a kind of platinum. It's very, very, very rare and expensive.
So, do you think there could be iridium like in him or something?
Well, not if it's having that effect on him. I wouldn't think so. No.
What makes iridium, cause that, that pain towards something? Is there a certain thing that would cause that?
Not that I've heard of. I just have my collection here, just goes through our notes a little bit. It's a very rare metal. It comes from asteroids, comets, whatever they're called. I think it's usually found in those sites. But no, if it's having that effect on him, it's not within him. It's quite the opposite. It's an allergic reaction it's having. Unfortunately, that's all I have of that material. It is very rare and expensive.
Where could we find more?
A jewellery shop, perhaps. As I said, very expensive though. And if it just hurts him physically, I mean, that might not be something you ideally want around anyway.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Honestly, I think the only thing that's bothers it is the stone. The metal just seems to burn me.
Henley, what do you think?
We've heard of iridium somewhere before. Was it something that Arkwright's society were looking for? That
It was in the notes that you found at Caernardy Castle. It was Matthew Davidson had witnessed artifacts containing traces of iridium being used at store in part of the Dagon rituals. Or Dagon, however you want to pronounce it.
perhaps we need to try and confront the Dagon cult, but I'm not sure who we would go to for that. Because it feels like everyone that we can pin down to a certain location is involved with Nefron Ka, but the only place we've encountered the Dagon followers directly was around Rum, but I'm not sure who we could even confront to try and find out if they have something that we could use. I don't know whether they might know the like some kind of spell of binding, but I don't know whether there's. It kind of seems like we were hitting our heads against a dead end when we were down in Rum. I don't know where else we could go with that.
I would say, I should speak to Kian, this thing, whenever it chooses to leave you, Kian, if you had in your possession something like that stone there that hurts it, that would perhaps be a way to repel it and force it all the way out, or to stop it from returning, at least.
So now that it's released control of me, can I? Mildred has the stone, right?
Correct.
Can I stand closer to Mildred?
You can certainly try.
Or do I still feel the stone?
Do you want to just stride towards her where the stone is, or do you want to approach her carefully?
Yeah, I'll take some measured steps towards Mildred.
You can feel the trembling of pain as you start to get close to it.
I'm actually going to force myself to take a closer step and then just try to see how long I can bear it.
Okay, so take a pain.
Fair enough.
Which pain are you picking?
I'll do like just fuck it. I'll take H. I probably like quickly sprint away and or like Or I thought you said pain.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Yeah. I was gonna take H. I was just gonna like lose my footing and position. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I'd like kind of crawl away. Frustrated that nothing seems to be working. I think we need to keep the stone as long as possible until then, I guess.
Did we ever work out or find out what happened to the other part of the stone that the
No.
fish people had?
I assume that the police guy has the other half and they're looking for the second half.
So I suppose we can reasonably assume that whoever it is running this, whoever it is that leads the Dagon cult is a corrupt member of the police in that case.
Potentially.
If you think you're done with the medium, do you want to head off to where Paul can get in touch with you?
Yeah, I suppose I don't think there's anything else that we can do and ask while we're speaking to Mary.
As you're leaving, Mildred, Mary takes your hand and she says to you, I know your friend is going through a great trouble just now, my dear, but you really should come back at some point. I can see how much you're hurting inside.
Okay, I will do. Thank you very much.
And take care of your loved ones. There is still a darkness around you all.
Okay. Maybe we should phone phone family members.
Should certainly do
Sure,
that. Sorry, Finley.
I was just going to say, sure, if there's someone you'd like to call, I'm sure we could find time for that. Yes.
Sure. So who are you calling, Millie?
Well, I'm calling what's called my sister and her husband.
And your sister answers after some time.
Hello, are you okay?
Is that you, Millie? Yes,
Yes.
we're fine. Is something wrong? Is Gloria okay?
I haven't phoned to check up on Gloria, but I'm going to today. Just if today, does your hubby still have his shotgun?
Of course he does. Yes. Why would you ask that?
There's strange men that are after us that are not from this world. Just gonna have to state it's crazy, okay? I don't know if you'll believe me or not, but I have to tell you. Just can you just make sure that can you and your hubby maybe go away for a few days? Are you able to do that?
I don't think we can leave the farm for that long, Millie. But I mean, we can perhaps go away tomorrow. It's Sunday, and go away for the day somewhere.
Yeah. Just get away from there. Yeah.
Okay, Millie. You get back home. You need to take care of yourself. You shouldn't be running around chasing monsters or whatever. You should be grieving and healing.
I know. There will be time for that. If you don't see me ever again.
Whoa.
I love you very much.
She's like, whoa, don't say things like that, Millie. Should we come and get you?
No, don't come and get, don't go anywhere near me. I will contact you.
Okay, just promise me you'll stay safe.
I will try. I love you very dearly.
So,
And look after Gloria if anything happens to me.
well, of course, Millie, but nothing's going to happen, is it?
Well, I hope not, but just in case.
Okay, you leave her very worried. And what was your friend that was looking after Gloria?
Cynthia.
Cynthia. Are you going to call Cynthia as well?
Hello, Cynthia.
Oh, Mildred. Are you going to be back from your trip soon? Your daughter is missing you terribly.
Oh, I understand that. Cynthia, I'm gonna transfer some money over to you. Could you take Gloria away for a couple of days? And I'm sure she would like, I'm sure she'd like to see some beach and some, some sun.
I mean, Mildred, are you sure that's wise? I mean, she keeps asking about where her father is.
Yeah, just say to her that like mommy and daddy will be home soon, and just take her to the beach for a day, for a weekend, weekend trip to Troon.
Okay, I'll take her. Well, I suppose we go today, tomorrow. Are you going to be back soon, Mildred?
Yeah, I should be back in like the next 2 or 3 days. Can you tell Gloria that I love her very much and give her a big kiss and hug from me?
Of course I will. I'll see her as soon as she gets back from her friends.
Thank you, Cynthia. You've been such a great friend to me. You're always such a great friend.
It's no problem, Mildred. I know you do the same for me in a heartbeat.
Thank you. I'll hopefully be back on like Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does Finley have any loved ones?
I was thinking about that. I think that there's probably not anyone I'd be on close enough terms with to want to phone, but I think probably for my own peace of mind as much as anything, I would just try and spend the time that we've got before we hear from Paul to write down as much as I can remember of what we've been through, and then like mail it to Father Campbell just in case we don't get out of this. As it seems like he's the only one that we know we can trust at this point. So
Sure.
Just in case the worst should happen, at least he'll have a record of what we've been through.
So the Rorschach when the diary lands in his door.
Yeah. And then the journalist that opens it is called why am I blanking on his name? Lovecraft. Christ, why did it take me so long to remember Lovecraft?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Paul, I'm assuming you're just going to call them at the time that they gave you.
Aye, of course.
Who wants to answer it?
I guess I will.
Or just let it ring. Just ring.
I think we're all a bit afraid of what might be coming.
Yeah, I'll Kian will answer it.
Hello, this is Paul.
Oh, hey, Paul. It's Kian and the rest of us.
The rest of you're all still alive, right?
So far, despite the universe's best intentions.
Well, that's at least some good news. I've got to say, you're getting chased down. There's some right dodgy coppers down here looking specifically for Mildred.
Yeah. Yeah, we tried. We've had some time. Are you? Where are you at?
Well, I need to be up and see you as soon as I'm back still in Dalkeith at the moment, as well. You can tell since I got your message, but I need to come up and see you. Are you back in Inverness or somewhere else?
I think that's where we are, aren't we?
Aberdeen.
You're in Aberdeen.
Oh yeah, we're up in Aberdeen. At the moment, we'll probably meet you there.
Right, I'll see if I can get the next train I can to get up there. Probably the soonest I'll be there is tomorrow morning.
Right. Well, definitely be careful, Paul. It's definitely getting worse and worse.
As long as you didn't murder anyone too dangerous yet, I'll be up there as soon as I can.
Keen just has a flashback to the moment where he kneecapped that guy yesterday.
Who may or may not have lived through the experience.
Yeah. And he's just like, yep, well, I'll see you then, Paul.
Should we get a newspaper to see if there was any headline news? Because it's kind of next to, Aberdeen, so that would be kind of news, would it not?
Aberdeen paper would probably have news or something happening in Banff. Yeah, that seems fairly likely. It would be the next day, the Sunday paper, that you'd probably see it in, though. If he's just going to head up, I think we can just skip through to the next day, the Sunday, which is the 19th.
I fully imagine, Paul has probably packed his hunting shotgun and stuff like that, and ammo, and is dressed for trouble.
Oh yeah,
expecting trouble.
Everyone's got shotguns now. Okay, so Cian, you will recover your pain. The rest of your time in Aberdeen, if you're just kind of waiting for Paul, is going to be uneventful. I'm assuming you just want to stay in a different hotel from the one you were in last night.
Yes, I think that would be best. Can we stay in one that's kind of probably the outskirts, isn't it?
A bit further away, a bit quieter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Paul, can you roll your intelligence for me?
So he's quite dim, so I'm guessing 2 dice take the worst.
Yes, that'd be it.
Or best.
Oh, do you have spot hidden? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you can roll 1 dice.
Yeah, he's quite dim, so I don't know if it cancels each of them out.
No, 1 dice should be fine.
Okay.
You definitely notice you're being followed up to the point where you get on the train. Beyond that, you're not sure.
Just seeing some bodies coming on the train, and sort of whenever I move carriage, there's people moving carriage, but not terribly sure kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, by the time you get to Aberdeen, there's people that were genuinely travelling from Edinburgh to Aberdeen anyway at that time. So they may have just been travelling there normally. So up until, but you're definitely being followed while you were in Edinburgh.
Fun.
Right, I need to go to the toilet, so I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Where do you guys want to go next? Just thinking.
Japan.
Nice.
Far, far away from wherever this thing's wanting to go.
Oh, to think today is the summer solstice.
Is it?
Yeah, the longest day.
That's appropriate.
Yeah, that is very appropriate, isn't it?
Yeah, that's quite cool. I mean, Is that a coincidence, or do you think this was intentional?
I don't think it was intentional. I don't think John knows that it's summer solstice today, but yeah, it's the summer solstice today.
That's funny.
Because Sweden have their midsummer on Friday, Saturday. And today was supposed to be like the longest day as well. To think about it, it is actually still quite light outside, you know, because the longest day is supposed to be like the longest, you know, with the sunshine, and then it kind of goes down. It does actually look still quite bright for 9:30. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been like the past few nights. I don't think it's been getting. Has it even been getting completely dark at all? I think there's still been a bit of light in the sky during the night.
Yeah, I don't think it gets really dark, does it? Like, you know, in June till about, you know, 11 o'clock at night, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite fitting, isn't it? Summer solstice.
That's kind of funny, yeah.
So what time is it, Kian, where you are just now?
It's 3:29. Just turn in 3:20 or 3:30.
Oh my goodness! Like you've got like the whole, practically like the whole afternoon, evening, night.
Yeah, this is technically my earliest game, and that's why I can only be on my days off because I work.
Just to think we're all in our beds while you're still up.
That's usually how it is. Yeah, I usually when this game ends, I go into the living room, grab me some food, and then I tell my girlfriend like, "Oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe this shit." And then I just nerd out telling her about the game.
Yeah, that doesn't happen till like tomorrow.
Yeah, usually this game ends like right about time for supper.
Now, I went to Midsummer in Sweden with my friend Emily and Gillian. It was Emily's uncle's what's called house. It was like a nautical house. It was like a boat house, and they have these wee sort of islands with like it's sort of like it's like the water, and then it's just like the island. It's really cool. It's like so cool, and it was just like nautical, and there's like couches outside. It was boiling. It was so nice, and we were making these wee sort of headbands, and then they had the pole where we were all like singing and dancing. It was very merry.
Oh, that's nice.
Apart from when Emily's aunt and Emily's cousins were all getting naked in the water, and they were like,
what?
"Oh, yes, yes,
Oh,
that's a tradition." I was like, "Oh, people in Scotland, we don't like to do this." I'll just stay with like my dress on, you know, it's okay, my dress and my wee cardigan, I'm fine.
yeah. I guess that needs to be something like discussed up front first.
Yeah, they just kind of whip it all off, and they're just like they're so cash with like their bodies and stuff like that, and I'm just like, nope, I will not be doing that.
Is this something like they've done in the past for you, or is this like a first time? You're just like, I have seen way more than I even thought I'd ever see.
That was the first time. Yes, my first experience of that. It was a bit too much. I didn't know where to look. I was just kind of like, okay, just sip on your drink and just like look at the wee duckies with the wee mother duck. There was wee duckies, and it was just like, oh my goodness. They were so cute. There was like about 10 of them in the mother duck. And I was just like, But yeah, I was a bit traumatized. I said to my friend Emily, because she's the one who's Swedish, and I was just like, oh my goodness, this is a bit bizarre. We just do not do this in Scotland. Well, she's half Scottish and half Swedish, to be fair. So. Everyone just went silent.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, just 1 second.
I was looking through my notes there. I think because I was trying to remember if we'd ever seen any mention of what the name of the Dagon leader was, and the best guess, I think Ferguson was the name that I seemed to have written down. Who I'm guessing is possibly the guy that Paul encountered in the police station.
In the miners' foreman's office.
The chief superintendent, or chief constable, whatever they're called, the head of the Edinburgh Police, introduced himself as Ferguson to Mildred when she was being interviewed.
Yeah, because I think we've got like one of the notes of the one of the notes that we found in I want to say in the house. I think no, it can't have been the house, but one of the notes that we've got anyway mentions that the warrant against Michael Thomas was called off by an EF, which presumably would point to it being Ferguson. So based on that, maybe Ferguson is the leader of the Dagon cult, or at least an important part of it.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself, to be fair.
So, sorry, if we're skipping... On you go.
Sorry, I was trying to say I'm back.
God damn you. It's because you've got your speakers and it echoes my voice when I can hear it. But yes, so if we're skipping to the Sunday morning, very early hours, when Paul gets to Aberdeen, obviously he's heard everything that we did today, but if there's anything that he missed last time that you want to fill him in on.
I guess should probably be honest and tell him about the guy I shot. And then my subsequent possession and opening of the very scary door underneath the castle.
Did you go in the door? Were you able to sort whatever was behind it?
No, I mean I did see a face looking at me, but we were quite busy trying to get the fuck out of there.
So you opened the door and ran?
To be fair, I didn't open the door. I just ran away. The thing in my head opened the door.
So no, the greatest of things.
Which, yeah, apparently last night, Arkwright and Maggie were thanking the thing for me opening the door. Because apparently opening that door let something out.
Should we head back in and close it?
I have a sort of idea. Do you think that, we were saying about the Ferguson police guy, could we not get the medium to, like, put some sort of curse or something?
She barely knew what to do with what's in me. Like, she's not that kind of.
Okay.
She's clearly got something down, but she's never had to deal with anything like this, so I'm really not putting much faith in her being able to help outside of this, and Keen will hold up the crystal necklace that she gave him, which,
I think as well, maybe we should go to Canardy Castle, but I think we need to sort of kind of change our look a little bit.
That might be for the best.
I mean, Arkwright and Maggie are looking for us, and from what I was able to, I managed to shove the thing away in my head, but it did tell them that we were on the eastern side of things. So I don't know if they know that I opened the door, so I feel like they're gonna want to start looking around Canardy Castle first.
Are you going to divulge to them, Paul, the details of what was said to you?
He's going to share everything with them and say that they're on a timer and they're being hunted, and the loved ones are being hunted, and that Hilda's taking the kids somewhere safe.
And they want me and the stone.
And Mildred. But they definitely asked for the Irish boy, which, let's say, could be you, could be Finlay. You never know. Finlay might be one of those filthy Irish as well. Because I'm getting the feeling, I'm trying to remember when the famine happened in Ireland, and I'm trying to wonder if he's a Catholic and Protestant kind of thing.
I think it was the famine, like for some reason I want to say it was like, would that have been like the 1850s or 60s, but I'm not just sure.
Yeah, that was 1845.
Okay, so but it's
We
more
haven't.
yeah.
I was going to say we haven't been to the store Blue Men site.
So, this is a point, and I don't usually do this, but I was just going to have your characters roll intelligence to figure out where it is you need to go for the alignment.
Okay.
Because the way our sessions worked out, we didn't do the one where I was kind of going to drop the heavier clues about where to go.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So I was just going to have your characters roll intelligence to figure out where to go. If that's okay with you.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure.
Time. Oh, Jeebus, I got a 5.
And I got a 4.
Okay, so does everyone know how to draw lines on Roll20?
No.
I can, yeah.
I didn't know you could do that.
Okay, I will just draw them for you then. Save
Oh,
time.
that's right.
Oh wait, I do see the little I see the little paintbrush icon actually, yeah.
So, who got the... You got a 5, didn't you? So you just get the map out, You mark down where things have been happening, lay out all your clues, and start to rummage through them all. And then Kian, since you have a 6, you start to remember the sigil that you saw carved on, I think it's on floors and bedposts and such, for the Dagon cult. And you look at where things are positioned on the map, and you draw a line.
Oh, we're going to run.
Where from where? Aha. I think Paul just goes, wait a minute, he sort of raises his line.
Why does this drawing resemble a penis?
Oh, sorry, my bad. I thought we were doodling.
That's not a penis, this is a penis.
And the spring equinox.
There's a castle there. I know there's a castle there. Oh, Loch Ness.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
And then you look up on the southern shore of Loch Ness what actually sits there. And there is a place called Boleskine House. And since Cian got the 6, when Cian asks around what's Boleskine House, somebody produces a paper and shows you a story of Boleskine's house former occupant, and Mr. Alistair Crowley, who used to own the house up until 1913.
Dun dun dun.
I'm assuming everyone knows who Alistair Crowley was.
Yes.
I definitely do, as I Google it.
The devil.
A very famous occultist.
I've just got the Ozzy Osbourne song stuck in my head.
Oh, I think I know about this guy. Yeah.
You'll have heard the name, but you might not have attributed it back to this guy.
Yeah.
So that seems like a very suspect position for something like that to happen. There'll be the newspaper clipping will be able to show you that, you know, he's been accused of demon worshipping and raising the dead and all sorts of black magic. But he no longer owns his house. Someone else owns it now.
Can you tell us that?
Why? You have a library one. Why don't you give me an intelligence roll?
Oh, bad.
Do you want to spend 1 luck?
Have 4 luck, so maybe just 1.
Yeah, just a bump to a 4. It's a Mr. Edward Ferguson owns the house.
Oh, for
Dum dum
fuck's
dum.
sakes.
We should have got this for the fact his name was on that thing Dark called Michael Thomas underneath EF. What's a big clue?
These were halfway there.
We good detective are.
It did go through my mind, you know, I wonder if we just draw the lines across the middle of the map, do you think that would be it? But I didn't actually think to do it, so...
Yeah, I definitely figure it was like, I'll definitely at one point in time I was trying to draw a line and make a shape, and I was like, but wait a second, there's like these two, like Maleg and Rum, like how the fuck do you supposed to include that in this weird symbol?
It very roughly resembles the sigil that you saw.
Yeah,
It doesn't help that the real map of Scotland and this map of Scotland aren't exactly the same.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because this is obviously a much older map.
Oh well, he's coming to get us, isn't he? When you think he's going straight to his house.
It is Sunday the 19th. The equinox will be on the dawn of the 21st. So what would you like to do?
Burn his house to the ground.
Yeah, that would actually be like a really good idea. No, I'm being serious.
I suppose we could try to change our appearance before we go anyway, but I don't know, would it still benefit us to have any kind of disguise at this point, or do we just turn up and come what may?
I think like changing our disguise, I was thinking like cutting my hair.
I mean, it might at the very least, I suppose, buy us a little bit of anonymity in case the police are still following.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe cut my hair quite short, and then has anyone got like a sort of bonnet sort of, hat, and I can just kind of, maybe look, men's clothes or something. I just won't talk much.
I'm sorry to say I've left my spare bonnet hat at home.
Oh, really? Everyone was wearing a bonnet hat at this point.
Oh, Paul, you must have one.
He says, wearing his bonnet, looking very sad at, Mildred demanding his bonnet.
The pure matty tear underneath.
Or maybe Finlay, can I have yours?
I suppose, I think, judging by my character portrait, I've probably been wearing mine for most of the time recently, so I guess it would make sense for me to go bonnetless for this.
I mean, imagine...
If we're trying to disguise ourselves.
Imagine you sleep in yours, Finlay.
Maybe I should just buy one, because, I'm sure in Aberdeen they've got, loads of sort of wool stores, don't they?
Yeah, you could pick up a hat easily anywhere. Because everybody was wearing them at this point.
Yeah, probably wouldn't hurt to swap out some clothes and just change things up at least a little bit. If it's only a matter of time before they find us anyhow, it's just either they're gonna sniff me out or they'll sniff the stone out. Like they found the first half. I'm surprised they're not able to find this one.
It's because Paul and Mildred were expert liars at the time.
We really were, to be fair.
So it's Sunday, there'll be Sunday services, so it's going to be an effort to get up there.
You know what? I feel as if people are gonna arrive there the night before, so it's gonna be some sort of ceremonious, and we'll just be caught in the middle.
So travelling there, I don't believe the roads were properly constructed around the loch at this time. It was the 30s before that happened, and that's when the monster sighting started. So it would be a train back to Inverness, and then just kind of hiking it or hitching a lift somewhere up to the loch itself.
Are we best hiking it, or?
Depending how incognito you want to be, because as you said, if people are going there for a ceremony or something like that, they might see you.
Yeah, it might be best just taking it. Because we don't want to be seen, so.
Yeah, the longer we stay out of their sight, the better. Let's just crash their party whenever the time's right.
Does everyone want to roll 1 dice for me then, please?
Just the one?
Just 1, yes. That's great.
Oh,
Fail, 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 fail.
I mean,
Right.
if sorry.
How many luck have you got, Finley?
Unless everyone bumps theirs up to a 4, there's probably not much point.
I mean,
I was going to say I was going to just use 1 point, so that's me down to 2 luck. So.
Yeah, I think I have. I want to. In fact, I'll just check how much I've got. I've written it down.
I've got a solid 5. I can spend 1 of mine to bump up.
Yeah, my last note of how much I had left was 6, so I'd be willing to spend 3 and make it like a 4.
So it's just...
Does it have to be just one person that does it, or
does Keen have 1 luck to bump his up?
Oh yeah, I've got 3 left. I can bump mine.
Alright, so if everyone's bumping up to 4, then that's fine. So you'll be able to get to Inverness probably on the Monday, like Monday morning, which is the 20th. And you'll be able to start making your way along the roads, taking like side paths, going over footpaths over the hills instead of going along the driveways or the cartways. You'll definitely see people arriving who look as if they don't belong there. They're coming from cities, they're coming from all over the place. They are not locals, and you'll see them like arriving on the trains and such. And there'll be some that are in police uniforms, which are obviously not of the local constabulary.
we're in for the treat, boys?
There's so many people that someone was bound to have noticed you at some point, but nobody, grabs you or corners you or actively follows you.
Just out of curiosity, that first day when I was possessed in Glasgow, do I recognize any of the policemen that attacked me that day?
So I think 2 got away. And 1
Yeah,
was...
there was definitely 2 that got away.
Yeah. I think given they were chasing you and then they ran off, I don't know if you got a good enough look at them to really recognise them at a distance. If you wanted to risk getting in amongst them, you could maybe take that chance.
Nah, I'm good.
But you are heading along the southern shore of the loch to get to Borskin House, is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Sounds about right.
There's. We need one of those robes.
All right. So what is our plan here?
Probably to get in the house, isn't it? I think.
I think we can assume that at some point, probably the two groups are going to meet each other, and I would imagine there would be some kind of confrontation coming. So I think we should at least be prepared for that. You know, hopefully, if it all kicks off, we'll be able to use the commotion to our advantage. But exactly what our goal should be in the meantime, I'm not sure.
Thinking like we stay in the woods and see what happens. You know, how it plays out, and then, like you said, when they're all battling, maybe we can try and get in the house to see if there is anything that'll change Kian back.
Yeah. I mean, we can. I mean, I wonder if there's any chance that the Dagon worshippers might have brought the other half of the stone with them. If we can secure that, you know, hopefully that would give us some kind of purchase over the monster. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, do we want to wait and see if there's any kind of opportunity arises that maybe we could try and take some of the robes from the followers in the time being? I mean, I'm assuming they are going to meet each other and all kick off, but you know, we don't know how long it might take for that to happen. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to lie in wait, I just have you roll to kind of remain hidden. You'll have advantage for that because you're in the woods and stuff.
Is that going to be 2 dice? Yeah.
Yeah, everyone can roll 2 dice and use the best. Pure key.
Goodness, why? Why?
Paul being the largest is the most easily hidden.
He's standing behind a tree as well.
I'm gonna just use my last 2 luck then to.
So it's pure keen that gets seen.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
We
think
can use
two
the
luck.
best, right?
Wouldn't 2 luck just still put you to a fail though? Because that would just put you to 3.
That's still a fail if it's 3.
Yeah, you need to be up to a 4.
All right. Okay.
Oh fuck. Well, all right.
So use lying wait. A car arrives with a police escort. A very tall man gets out, and everyone like kind of bows and goes down their knees. A person comes out behind him, and they are holding something, which is hard to see from this distance, but it could very well be the stone. And everyone kind of like reaches out and touches the thing that he's holding as he goes through the procession into the building. A time after that, a very expensive car arrives. And Cian definitely recognises the people in that when Maggie steps out of the car and opens the door and helps a very old, frail man in a wheelchair out of the car. And he is wheeled in. Nobody is bowing for him, but he is wheeled in through a line of people as well. As the day goes on and the evening kind of draws in and it gets darker, some of the cultists are wandering around the gardens, some of them alone, some of them in pairs, some of them in small groups. There's like some lanterns lit along the pathways, but it's quite dimly lit. It's not, you know, because it's dark. And it might be possible for you to, you know, get down there and get close to the edge of the gardens from your current position in the darkness.
Can I use navigate?
To navigate down there without being seen? Yes, you could.
Yeah. I got 5.
I don't suppose spying would really do anything here, would it? Yeah, I don't know. Okay. So, okay, so this has been like the Dagon cult that's been after us, right?
Yes.
And all this time I was assuming that the Dagon cult were the ones who had infiltrated the police, and that Arkwright was part of the Nephron Ka cult, but they don't seem hostile to each other. So something doesn't quite add up.
Maybe Michael Thomas's group is now dispersed, maybe, and it's just the Dagons. Maybe it died with him when, when he was in Rum, and maybe he was Michael Thomas, and once he, passed away, then that was it. I see anything spot hidden. Can I roll a spot hidden?
You can, yes. Roll 2 dice. Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
Just looking for any sort of like, not rituals, but like anything that they're doing, as in what preparations.
So, during the time you've been watching all day, up into the evening, there's been a steady procession of them with tools and lumber going down the hill, down to the shoreline and back again. So they're definitely like constructing something down there. But because of the tree line, you're not able to see it from your current point.
Does anyone have charisma or anything? I don't think we have charisma, do we?
Sadly, no.
Because we could have, had that sort of persuade people to give the ropes, but
Hey, fellow cultists, I forgot my robes.
How do you do, fellow cultists? I think probably our best bet is going to be to see if there's like maybe some of them that are away from the rest of them and try and jump them when they're separated.
Yeah, periodically, yes, you'll get the stray one that'll kind of wander near the edges, where Mildred is already kind of shambled down to.
we best with like having our guns out.
I think we probably won't try and do this quietly for now, if we can. Yeah. I think it's probably going to be either Paul or Kean that would have the best chance of like getting them in a physical attack, though. Finley and Mildred have the weak tag, so.
Yeah, Kean's just going to take a quick moment and kneel down in front of Bruce and give him one last pet. And then I'm going to take off Bruce's collar. Yeah, you don't even know. All right. Yeah, I'll try. I'm trying to leave Bruce behind, but I don't think Bruce is going to understand.
I mean, you could tell him to stay. He'll understand that.
All right. Yeah. I'll just try to have him stay there, and hopefully he'll be safe in case things turn really sour.
What about you, Paul? What do you want to do?
For some reason, I want to keep with Kean.
Okay. So two of you slide down to Mildred's position. She's already kind of shown the way how to get down there without being seen. You're down at the edge of the gardens. There's taller hedges and some shorter ones. Different bushes, rows of flowers. There's a couple of fountains. And gravel paths. And occasionally there'll be a trio, a single cultist sort of wandering past. Many of them are kind of, the ones that are on their own, definitely talking to themselves. And the ones that are talking amongst themselves, you get the impression they're not all there.
You could easily grab one of them and put their robe on.
Well, we can certainly try, I suppose.
So is that what you want to do? You want to just grab them?
I'm now just imagining just some cultists just walking by and we just grab them and just pull them into the bush. And then a few seconds later, the same cultists come sauntering out going, what the fuck happened there? And we're left like battered and bruised.
I'm thinking like, I'm like one at a time, not like a big pile. So we just do like one and then we do another one and, you know, just like that.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, it's up to Keenan and Paul because you guys are obviously the ones planning on doing it.
Yeah, I think one at a time. Try to like grab one, knock them out as stealthily as possible. Then like rinse and repeat until we're all disguised.
So, if both of you want to, because both of you are 2 dice, pick the best, aren't you, for this?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can both just roll that. Yeah, so you both managed to get, in succession. The first guy. I mean, how are you restraining them? Are you tying them up? Are you going to sleeper hold them? Are you just going to break their necks? How are you going to stop them from making commotion?
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to like grab him and then like put a hand over his mouth and then try to like bash him until he stops making noise. trying to knock him out, but I don't know what to do. I'm also not too concerned with his health.
I'm just imagining it's just like, 10 minutes later, you're still punching the thing and it's just like a smear on the ground.
Bloody mess where his head was on. What about you, Paul?
Probably like a solid smack to the face. I mean, imagine Paul's just basically a slab of meat, sort of grab one, throw him, and then just smash him in the face with his fist.
Okay, just try to render him unconscious through concussion. Okay, so Kean murders the guy by just repeatedly bashing his head with a rock. Because that's the way, you don't really knock someone out, you just end up killing them doing that. Paul, you managed to like, you'll floor him. You'll be like stunned, dazed, stars. You punch him a second time, he'll probably go out cold. But I mean, that doesn't usually last too long, unless the concussion is so bad that he will eventually die from it anyway. So it depends how concerned you are about him.
I don't think Paul would outright murder. Would probably try to tie him up, like probably tear some of his clothes and use it as binding and stuff like that.
Yeah, just try
and stuff something in his mouth.
Yeah, just gag him, leave him as best you can. Sure, while he's still sort of knocked out, stars drowsy. So you managed to get 2 guys, and they're robes, so they'll kind of fit you no matter what anyway. But after doing that, another pair of people come along, and they seem to be looking for the people who have gone missing. They're like softly calling out for them, and by this point it's pretty dark. It's like getting into nighttime proper.
Well, we have an extra.
So do you want to announce yourselves as the missing persons, or do you want to wait?
I think we want to wait because Mildred doesn't have a disguise yet.
Okay, so you wait, and the two people that came looking for the missing two people, then start to rummage around in the bushes and go through the bushes, and they start calling out a little louder into the trees for the missing persons.
Oh boy.
And we'll say their
Okay.
names are Colin and David.
Kian,
Yeah.
we're gonna need to pretend that we were doing something nefarious back here. I'm guessing, like, Kian's hands would probably be a bit smeared with blood from the violence.
A little bit, yeah.
It's like, Kian, rub some of that blood on my face.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Keena, you have a flicker of the sensation that you want to lick the blood off of his face after you do so.
Jesus fucking Christ. Why can't I be possessed with, like, something normal?
Look, what we're gonna do is we're gonna just basically pretend that I smashed my face off of one of these trees back here because I wasn't looking. You distracted me talking about the thing you usually just talk about, right? It's your fault you distracted me.
One of the men spots Mildred in the bushes. Hey!
Oh well.
Well, so much for that plan.
Well, he says, there she is! Here, Moon, Colin, get her!
Okay.
Sort of rush over to where Mildred was. Like, just, fuck it, what you doing here, you bam? Sort of aim to grab Mildred and sort of give her the look of, please play along.
Oh, I've just got lost in the woods.
Davey, who is that that's there in the bushes?
Like some wanderer. You wouldn't believe. I just. We should get her sorted. You never know what she saw.
Aye, well, we better bring her inside. The master will want to see her.
Persuasion.
Persuasion what? What kind of leverage could you possibly have here?
Oh, persuasion.
It's just persuasion.
Yeah, you can't just say-
just.
If you want to try and persuade somebody something, you need to tell me what it is.
Well, I got 5. Persuade that, like, that I was like that I was a bit on the whiskey and I've lost my way back. You know, I've come to see the countryside and the beautiful weather
The
this
monster.
time.
So you're a lost
Yeah, looking for
tourist
the
out here
yeah.
in this particular part of the woods in
yeah
this particular part of night by yourself.
yeah.
So that would actually be fast talk. It wouldn't be persuasion.
Persuasion, come
No.
see, come ça.
So you roll 1 dice. In fact, what is your appearance?
It's ordinary. Use the 2 points because I never used them. It found me. So can I not use my 2 luck?
I mean, they already know. It's already suspicious as fuck.
Can you guys not do something to them? Okay, right. I won't use luck.
Yeah, so you give your story, and they're like, aye, I like this story. Davey, bring her inside. Where's Colin?
Wait, is that? Fuck.
You're-
Which one is me?
You. I
Here,
was
present.
before David.
I guess, yeah, I'll make myself known. Try to grab Mildred as well.
The second of the persons is a brown-haired woman. David, what's wrong with your voice?
He smacks his head into a tree. And you can see he sort of points at the blood on his hands and stuff like that.
Good God, David, what are you doing?
Sorry, got distracted.
Has something possessed you?
No, not recently.
Has he spoken to you?
Right, why are we trying to speak coherently to a bunch of psychotic cultists? No, I was definitely distracted by his voice. Yep.
What did it sound like? What did he tell you? Is he pleased?
Yes, he definitely sounds pleased.
She gets visibly excited and claps her hands a little. Oh, this is wonderful. And to think this is probably an extra sacrifice. We will be favoured.
Mm-hmm. What have we got ourselves into, boys and girls?
So the four of you sort of half drag Mildred towards the house. Finlay, from your vantage point in the woods, what would you like to do?
Oh boy.
Oh fuck, we left him.
Okay. Can I see where their cars are parked at this point?
Oh yes, definitely. That area is quite well lit up.
Are there a lot of them down there? I mean, is it quite busy?
There's quite a few cultists milling around. Let's say a handful of them out front of the house, another handful in the gardens.
So it is quite busy near where the vehicles have been left.
There will be one of them kind of like watching, hanging around where the vehicles are.
I think I'd like to try and make my way around there stealthily if I possibly can. So try and work my way around there without being seen.
The only point where you really stand a chance of getting spotted is when you're having to cross that driveway to get into the other set of trees.
Hmm.
If you want to roll your agility, dexterity.
Sure. I think do I have? I want to say, am I fit or athletic? I think I have something of that nature. Sure. So 2d6. So 5.
The others are kind of like making their way up the side of the gardens towards the house.
So can I see the guy that's kind of in the vehicle pool? Is it just like one person on their own?
Yeah, he was talking to someone, but that person walks away and this guy's just sort of standing there having a smoke.
Just a second, I'll just consult my character sheet to see if I've got anything that would be useful here.
Sure. So Paul, you've got just like a loose grip on Mildred.
Can I say
Yeah.
my little Voyagers song?
Okay, I mean, yes, you don't have to say it to us, but yes, you can say it in character. Just sing out the song. Okay, so you're doing that while, Paul, you're just like holding her loosely and pushing her along.
Yeah, like it's like one of those sort of splayed grips, but it looks like I'm squeezing, but in actual fact, all I'm doing is I'm just splaying my fingers and holding.
Sure. The one guy standing behind you, it's still kind of dark. I mean, you're going in and out of lights as you go past him, but you've got your back to him, so he's not getting a good look at your face. And the guy that you took robes from, I'm assuming you've picked someone who's a similar kind of build, so that it fitted you anyway.
I hope so, or at the very least, the bigger of the two.
Yes. And the other woman, I mean, she's she's clearly like delusional. She's like skipping around and really happy and chattering about just nonsense. Like, she is wacko.
And Keen is just sort of awkwardly there.
Okay, I mean, that explains Mildred, but what about this female cultist?
Ha ha.
Okay, Finlay, so what do you want to do?
One thing I do have is fast talk. Is there any way on God's green earth I'd be able to, like, kind of imitate the voice of the, the great being from beyond the stars and convince this guy that he's been spoken to by something?
I think that might be a stretch.
Yeah.
You could bullshit him about something, yes, but an impersonation, I don't think so. You could bullshit him about hearing something or witnessing something, I suppose.
Yeah, I might try and persuade him that there's something happening nearby, like there's like one of the other people has been possessed and they need to all like gather quickly and they needs to come and see this thing immediately.
Okay, and where are you kind of leading him with this?
I'd like to lead him kind of up into a kind of quieter area away from the main house, somewhere reasonably dark, somewhere that one might say bash another man's head in with the wrong end of a shotgun.
Sure, so just off into this copse of trees that you've came out of.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so what's your appearance? Just regular?
Yeah.
And then you have fast talk, so 2 dice to S.
Sure. Ooh. Would it be worth me using a point of luck to bump that up to a 5?
Not the 5, because that would be just the same result. You'd have to make it a 6 for it to change
it would
anything.
need to be a 6, yeah.
I mean, that's up to you. A 4 is a success with the consequence.
Yeah, okay, I'll take the success with the consequence. I feel like I might need the luck for later. So.
Okay, so he follows your direction into the trees. But, as you're getting into the trees, he turns around and says, "How come you're not in dress?"
I only just got here. I mean, I've not had time to change.
I'm just got here. I mean, I'm standing watch at the gate for the cars. No one else has arrived.
We came across the hills. I mean, some of us have come here by foot. Since it's such a holy site, we didn't like to come by car.
I need to check this out. You want to come with me?
Sure. I mean, is there a point of? I mean, while he's sort of reasonably confused, I think I'll just take the best chance and go for trying to smash his head with the wrong end of the gun. This is probably going to be my best chance here.
Strength.
Unfortunately, I have weak. I do have military. Oh wait, yeah. Actually, when attacking or defending in combat, your roll has +1. So. Yeah, I'm gonna try and bludgeon him with it. Fair enough. Sorry, I rolled one by mistake there. Yeah, I think I'd like to smack him again and try and use like maybe if I like tie him up with my belt or something. I mean, I guess I would have like a belt around my trousers. Sure, I'd like to tie him up and gag him as best I can. So. Yeah, I mean it's a nasty thing to do, but I think in the circumstances I'll probably need to. So, yeah, I think it would bother me to do it, to be honest. Sure. Yeah, that's fair. I will take. I will take freeze up for a moment in terror, just at the realization of what I'm doing.
Fuck, I really don't know. Okay, they think we're cultists. They think that we've caught Mildred.
We've got our shotguns under our robes.
I mean, we could go loud, but I don't think it's really going to be advisable. But I also really have no idea what to do otherwise.
So
I mean, there's two ways that we could see this going, right? If we go loud now, it's going to be an action game and it's going to be brutal, but we at least wipe out a few more of the cultists before we get there. If we go in as Mildred as the prisoner, chances are they are going to identify Finley and Paul as soon as they get into the big room. They're going to be like, arrest them! Then the action could kick off.
Yeah, Maggie 100% recognizes me because she's the one that stabbed me in that alley. And Arkwright has also seen all three of our faces.
do you want a suggestion of another option?
I mean, if you want to be merciful.
You could like hand her off to other cultists to take inside.
Oh, you're such an asshole.
We could, but also that's basically leaving Mildred alone.
Be the first time she's in a dangerous situation on her own. I mean, that's enticing. I'm tempted by that one.
Although, yeah, all those Vietnam flashbacks of like, oh, go on ahead, kid. Go on ahead, kid. You go first, kid.
But it's up to you guys, yeah.
No, I think playing along. I mean, at least until once they recognize us, that's it. That's gonna be probably it.
And of course, Mildred. Sorry, of course, Mildred. You're not actually being held by anyone, so you can also do whatever you like as well.
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna start kicking.
Kicking Paul or kicking the guy behind him? I can hear you
Kick him
talking
in the
the
balls.
Okay, so you're just going to kick the first cultist that comes up to you.
Yes.
So when you leave the garden, some cultist is going to approach you, just like, who the hell is this? And then Mildred kicks him in the nuts. You don't need to roll for that because he would not be expecting that. He might not even be trained in combat in any way whatsoever, and he like keels over, kind of wincing in pain. What would Paul and Cian like to do at that point?
I think, honestly, with how tense everything is, I think Paul would immediately like turn around with a shotgun and just like butt smash the nearest other cultist. Like,
Oh,
Because of
okay.
the tension of it, and like if Mildred kicks out like this, I think because he'll be so tense, he'll just immediately lash out at the first cultist. Not shoot them, but I think that's honestly what he would do.
Yeah, no, fuck it. Yeah, Kate will grab his shotgun and again, not shooting, but have his back towards Mildred and Paul, and just try to make sure nobody gets too close. Yeah, definitely. Just that's over.
Can I quickly check the guy that I've just decked in case, in particular, what I'm looking for about his person is like a set of car keys.
He doesn't have keys, but he has a pistol.
Ah, okay. Well, I'll definitely take that anyway. That could well be useful.
So you got a pistol you shove in your pocket, I guess, since you're not got the belt on.
Yeah.
And you have your shotgun already anyway, you're sawing off.
Sure. Are like any of the other cultists starting to run towards where the commotion is, or?
Oh, they're all paying attention. Yes, the ones you can tell, the ones that are trained, and everybody will see this. The guys that are trained, the ones that may be cops or something, you know, they're in kind of a formation, keeping their distance. They react very quickly and swiftly. The other people, who are maybe just like random cultists from who knows what walks of life, just kind of, they're shocked, surprised. Perhaps they're not used to violence of this nature. They're just kind of like standing around watching, ogling. But you have at least like 3 trained officer types in the front yard, to kind of having a standoff with Keen.
I'll take advantage of the moment of confusion to kind of start looking at the cars, seeing if there's any of them that look like they might have the keys left in the ignition.
The expensive car that Arkwright arrived in definitely has the keys in the ignition.
Okay, cool. So what other ones are around? Are there like any other vehicles nearby that I could possibly sabotage? Like I'm thinking I would probably have a pocket knife about me, so I'm thinking like quickly slash the tires just to render them immobile.
Yeah, I could certainly do that. I mean, the engines are very primitive at this point, so sabotaging them, I think, is fairly straightforward as well.
Sure, I guess if I can do it surreptitiously, then yeah, I'd like to start sabotaging the other vehicles that are like sitting around the place, just to kind of start preparing for like a rapid escape.
Sure. So you guys out front, what do you want to know?
Oh god.
So Keen's facing off with about 3 guys. Commotion started. It's only a matter of moments before other people come.
So there's 3 guys with Kean. I've probably got a couple. And they've not got weapons out. They're still just like.
Well, if you're facing the ones in the gardens, they are just civilians, kind of thing. They're standing about, not sure what to do. The 3 there were more sort of guarding the front entrance. Keen's got his gun kind of waving back and forth between them.
Alright. Paul will probably grab one of the downed cultists on the ground, point the shotgun at their head, and then like look at the 3 that Kean's like bound. It's like, if you guys don't bugger off, I'm gonna paint the walls with this guy's brain matter, and then it'll soon be the 3 of yous.
Is there anything you want to do, Mildred?
I'm gonna pretend that I am hear the spirit of someone and just go like that. He is not pleased.
Oh fuck.
Pleased. So I'm just gonna keep repeating that. I'm going, he is not pleased. He is not pleased. He is not pleased.
And
He
Keen,
is
what would
not
you like?
pleased.
Keen, what would you like to do? Or are you just gonna keep your gun trained on them? Is there anything you want to shout at them?
No, I think I'm just sort of trying to keep my eyes on. I think I'm too busy focusing on anybody getting too close.
So the guys keep their distance. I wouldn't say they're backing off as such, but they keep their distance. They've got their handguns drawn. And as you are standing there, a tall, dark figure comes out with the men on either side of him comes out of the front entrance. And then when he spots and recognises who you all are, he yells for someone to come out of the house. He steps out into the courtyard behind the 3 guards. And he claps. Well done, Mr. Cummings. Thank you for bringing your friends. He looks at you, Mildred. Mrs. Potts, I do hope you brought the stone.
No, the stone is in what's called in a basement in Canardi Castle.
He smiles a wicked smile. Well, I know that not to be true. And then he looks at the doorway and directs your attention there. And 2 guys are dragging out...
Can I put the salt across me?
I mean, you can do that while this is happening, yes.
Yeah.
2 men pull another man out from the doorway. They drag him out.
As in, put a circle?
Yes, I know. They drag him out, and he is being beaten bloody and bruised, but even so, you can still recognise him as Father Campbell.
Oh, that's fucked.
They throw him on the ground in front of the big tall man.
Can we start saying the exorcism? I feel like can we start saying the exorcism?
I don't think that's gonna work.
I think you should hand over the stone and lower your weapons, or I'll be forced to do something unsightly to your friend, the good father here.
Kian shoots the guy.
The big tall guy?
Yeah, the tall guy.
I will say that if you shoot, Paul will most likely shoot into the crowd, I guess.
I mean...
Ian, do you want to roll with your dexterity? If you have anything about shooting as a skill, that would improve it.
Hey, hon. Sorry, just to say, I can't... Oh, there's something wrong with my roll 20.
Log out of it and go back in again. But yeah, Keen, if you want to roll.
I do have firearms, and I am agile. Oh, I didn't have to roll? Okay.
Just because the thing is, he was like waving the gun at the cultist, and he'll have heard the shot, and he'll have then shot because, he doesn't know immediately who fired. Sure. Thinking he's been fired at, you'll fire at the crowds.
The crowd of the ones that are obviously armed.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to roll me with your dexterity? Do you have anything for like firearms or shooting?
No, and he is unfit.
Agile or stiff. That one.
Oh, okay. No, he's neutral, so
1 dice.
Hmm.
Nice.
Oh, it's still not working. No, it's when pure miniature and I can't get it to go back. Okay, well, okay.
Just you really wanted to stare at Kian's face there, like hyper zoomed in.
Totally.
Can I see Mildred at this point?
If you're poking your head around the corner of the building, yeah.
I was wondering if I could try and like motion to her to check the dead guy's body, like hopefully for the stone.
Well,
I don't know how you would mime looking at the dead guy for the stone.
I mean, you could wave that direction, but Mildred, that would also require you getting in amongst the guards.
Do they have my stone?
Well, you have your stone. They didn't take it, did they?
I'm thinking they'll have the other one though. So
I don't think they would have it on them, would they not? They would
well,
have it
they
in the
have-
house.
that's a fair point.
The more important thing might be that right now that they have guns.
There is
Yes.
also that. Well, I'll try and signal to Mildred anyway. I mean, worst things worst. If everybody can like back towards the car, then like, we can at least try and make a hasty retreat.
I think I'll head towards the car.
Okay, so you catch sight of Finlay poking his head around, and you kind of retreat behind your beloved Paul and Cian human shields, back around the edge of the building with Finlay. So Cian and Paul, they both go down. How do you want to follow up with that?
I immediately am trying to grab, I imagine Campbell was dropped in between me and the tall guy, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
it's like thrown on the ground, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to grab Father Campbell and hoist him up and try to carry him with us as I retreat backwards. And if anyone appears to be particularly hostile, I'll try to shoot them as well.
What are you about, Paul? You'll have like a moment before the shock of the change of situation kicks in for the rest of them.
Probably roar and intimidate and shout at them to like get back, or it'll happen to you next.
Roll 2 dice, pick the best.
No.
Oh, fuck.
Let's find out what wound I have. Okay. They hit me in the ear. Probably along the lines of destroyed his glasses at the same time. So I'm left very, very visibly impaired and deafened.
Yes. Gunshot rings out. Everyone kind of realizes what's going down at that moment and instinctively tries to take cover behind plant pots, benches, whatever is nearest to them, no matter how flimsy or impractical it seems. So Finlay and Mildred are on the side of the building. Where do you go? What are you doing?
Well,
I
I'd
thought
like
we
to
were
give.
going to the car.
Sorry.
Finlay?
Are we not going to get the car, drive up and get them?
Yeah, I was going to say just, first of all, I'd like to give Mildred the pistol I took from the guy, so.
Sure. So you hand her the pistol, Mildred, you now have a handgun. Finlay, you still have the shotgun. You just turn around to face the cars, and the woman Maggie, whom you both recognise, is standing there beside the car.
Does she recognise us?
She's seen Mildred before, I believe.
Yeah, Mildred was the one that flashed the flashlight.
Yeah. Could I say the Voyager song to her?
You can do that if you want. Finlay, do you want to do anything while she starts singing the song?
I'll maybe wait for a moment just to see if it has any effect on Maggie. If there is no effect, then, or if she tries to charge towards us, I'll just blast her.
Okay, could you roll your dexterity for me?
Sure, I'll just check the sheet again. I'm neutral in this one actually, so. So 5, I
Yes.
guess.
As Mildred starts to sing the song, Maggie lunges forward with her right arm pointed out. And as she does so, you shoot her with the shotgun. She manages to just scratch you with the tip of her claws. Her fingernails have turned into these long talons, giving you a little pain. But then you blast her with the shotgun and she goes rolling backwards into the gravel.
Is she definitely dead, or is she
Do you want to walk over and nudge the body?
I don't think I'd like to get that close. I think I'd like to start the car.
Do you want to yell at Mildred to get in the car as well?
Yeah, I thought I was already in the car.
Okay, so you're already... Yeah, as soon as you see her, you're in there.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to get the Dodge out of hell at this point, so.
Okay, so Cian, you're dragging Father Campbell as quickly as you can towards where?
I was actually thinking towards where Mildred.
So back to be round the corner of the building.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
And what about you, Paul?
Keep with the key in. Just try and keep moving, and I guess trying crawling towards Keane, because let's be honest, he'd probably been blasted to the floor with the devastating wound.
Definitely holding your ear with one hand, I think, maybe. But you're big enough you could hold the shotgun with the other. So you maybe like try and give him cover as you back away.
Yeah.
Yeah, same as well. Trying to drag Father Campbell with me.
Do you want to roll your fitness, Cian?
Sure thing.
So you could spend luck to bump it to a 4. If you don't, something bad happens.
I have 2 luck left, so I will spend a single point.
One of them lets out a gunshot, but it goes wide. Another one just kind of plinks the ground next to you in the gravel. However, as you're kind of rounding the corner hurriedly with Father Campbell over your shoulder, you can see the figure of Ferguson who was shot down stretch out an arm and try to prop himself up. The other man who was shot in the chest in much the same way was decidedly dead on impact. However, that does not seem to be the case with Ferguson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we need to get the fuck out.
You hear the car engine turning on behind you. What would you like to do next?
Get the hell out there.
Cry havoc and let loose the dogs of war.
I think I'll bring the car around and try and provide some cover for Kian and Paul to get into while presumably they continue to fire.
It's like reverse it out, spin it around.
Try and like, yeah.
Just Finlay Tokyo drifting it.
Does anyone have like some whiskey and a lighter? As in not lighter, be matches, wouldn't it? So
It could be a lighter. Yeah, I'd light us in.
to to throw at the house or something, throw.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
Nervy.
we could go stereotypical and say Kian always has a bottle of whiskey on him, but I don't think that's actually the case.
you picked the expensive car. Sorry, you would have the expensive car. There is definitely a bottle of whiskey, like nestled between the passenger seats.
Oh, okay.
And I've got some cloth in my bag, so we could. And I'm sure one of you has a lighter, so.
Well, Finlay smokes, don't you, Finlay?
Yeah, I think I would definitely have some kind of light on me. Yeah.
So where are you throwing this, and what's your intention, Mildred?
Throwing it at the. Are we near the gate in the car? Okay. So just show me in your screen, just do the little arrow. Oh, okay. Well, I just like throw it there then.
You
Oh, maybe not. What about like throw it at the trees? Because then if a tree is like burning, and then that kind of. Yeah, I'm still in the car, so. Yeah, so I just threw it at Ferguson then.
Okay, try to put him down. Okay, so roll me with your dexterity, which for you I believe is just 1 dice.
Please, God, don't fuck it up.
5.
Yes, you throw it at him, sets him on fire, and where you might expect a man to normally start shrieking in agony at this point, he kind of just rolls over onto his stomach, and his back starts to arch up and snap. And 6 or 7 angled protrusions start to tear through the back of his shirt and extend outwards like long limbs.
Okay, we need to get out of here now. Like, head on it, Finlay.
Yeah, I think if what are Kian and Paul doing at this point? I mean, are they able to get into the car?
I hope so. I imagine we're trying to like reload the shotgun and pointing at it. Probably Paul would probably have tried shooting at the giant thing.
Yeah, Paul, if you want to roll a shot. This is combine you kind of like shooting to give yourself an opening just to dive into the car. And I think Keen's already kind of at the car because they swerved around to protect him.
I figure, being kind of blurry visioned would impact the roll.
Yes, you let out a shot. You definitely hit it, but you're not, You're not staying around to like see the after effects of it immediately. And you dive into the car, and then a couple of other gunshots go off, and one of the windows of the car is like smashed with a bullet. As you all kind of clamber inside.
Yeah, Cian throws Father Campbell in, and if I can, I'll probably also try to shoot Ferguson, because fuck that noise.
Okay, roll with the dexterity. Is your dexterity stiff or agile?
It's agile, and I have the firearms personal skill.
Okay, so 4 becomes a 5 anyway. Yes, you definitely hit him as well. But as you and Paul both kind of let out your shots, hit him, turn around, dive in the car, you're facing forward as you get in there, and Maggie leaps onto the bonnet of the car and starts pounding at the glass with her fist.
Oh, for fuck's sakes!
And the only one in the front seat is Finlay at this point.
Yeah, I would floor it and try and like shake her off by like swinging the car from side to side as we're going along.
I kind of think this is dexterity again because it's your ability to control the car.
Right. I don't know if it makes any difference, but I think I do have the tag for car for drive automobile is a personal skill. I don't know if that helps.
Definitely, yes. So what's your dexterity is just 1 dice, so you actually get 2 dice.
Yeah.
So you actually get 2 dice
Cool.
to pick the best.
Cool. Oh boy.
Do you have 2 luck?
I think I would. Yeah, because what did I use earlier? Was it 2? I used. Yeah. I would still have luck left. So yeah, I'd like to use 2.
Do you want to bump it to a 4? Do you want to use all your luck and bump it to a 6?
In the circumstances, actually, yes. I think this is probably a situation that would call for the 6.
Yes, you take like an S sort of maneuver, manage to throw her off, and she rolls off into one of the bushes, and you just bomb it along the driveway onto the hard, barely paved road as quickly as possible. And you tear off along the road, easily outpacing them. You sabotage their cars, so if they want to give chase, it's going to take them some time.
Alright, now they just don't ever stop driving, and their plans will be ruined.
Yeah, I think we need to get like as far away as is humanly possible. I mean, I think this is probably like time to leave the country, effectively.
Yeah, Cian is definitely like just watching out the back window with his shotgun ready, reloaded.
There is a surge of blood through your body, Cian. As the thing inside you, desperate to take control here,
No!
pushes against your will. You want to roll your fitness for me?
I've got 1 last fortune point I'm willing to spend. Oh!
As much as it wants to break free, take control of you now, it cannot do so. So it gives up
the crystal.
It gives up in trying to take control of your body, and it starts to pull out of your ears and create like this black puddle on the roof of the interior of the vehicle.
Oh, fuck.
There's a soft hissing sound as it does so, like air escaping.
Mildred, the stone, get the stone!
Yeah, I just get the stone out.
And do what with it? You need to hold your button down, hon.
And point it towards it.
Just raise it up. Do you want to like jam it into it or what?
Just, yeah, sort of jam it into it.
Does anyone else want to do anything?
I forget, did we didn't take that iridium piece of metal, right, from Mary? We didn't take that with us, did we?
We did take that with us.
The small
Because I
piece-
was to, yeah.
Yeah, the small piece you could have if you want.
I mean, I think we would still. I think I would have hung on to the little vial of the tears we got from Reverend Crimmins. So for want of anything else, I'd like pass that over to someone in the back to try that as well.
So we're just throwing everything at it, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, this is very much a monkey brain just throwing rocks at the fire to make it go away. Just throw everything, and hopefully one of these things will do something.
It definitely has a reaction to the metal and to the stone. And it kind of like pulls, and I mean like pulls in a liquid, like pulls itself in the opposite direction away from the back seat into the front seat. And then it seeps down into the ears of Finlay.
Oh god.
No.
I'd like to try reciting the exorcism if I can give that a try. Do I have an opportunity to do that before it takes me, or
You can fumble for the notes and pull it out and try to read it while you're driving if you want, yeah.
sure?
But what I would actually like you to do then is to roll dexterity, just regular, 1 dice.
1 dice, okay.
Oh, you got a 6! Oh my god.
Jesus. It's multitasking right there.
Yay, Kian.
Oh my god.
You're back.
Well, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I should probably check and make sure he's not dying.
Do we have something we can bind him with? Try and close his wounds up.
I mean, I could probably take off like a jacket. Or actually, no, I'd take off the robes I stole, and I start trying to tear off bandages, or very very crude.
Distance between us, isn't it? So.
Would we have them? I was just thinking if we'd taken like a tourist map or something, would we be able to find like a? Because I mean, I'm guessing this is like a holidaymaker country, so there might be like a bothy that would be used by walkers or something somewhere that we might be able to.
You could do that, yeah. There'll be a number of bothies and off sort of paths that you'll go along. The road is very like basic gravel, rocky. There's a few different directions you can go in once you get to the end of the loch. And the main road there will obviously take you on to Inverness. It just depends.
Is it best?
Just depends. Sorry, it just depends how long you want to drive. If you want to just keep going to run out of fuel, or if you want to pull in at a certain point. Sorry, Mildred, on you go.
I was just thinking, is it safe for a boat or?
On the loch?
Yeah.
You could drive down to one of the bothies as a little pier if you wish, yeah.
What do you guys think, boat or if just keep driving?
Is Loch Ness like enclosed? Is there any like anything that leads into Loch Ness that if we get into a boat, is there like a?
It does not connect to the Firth of Moray. It does not connect to the outer ocean.
Okay. Well, maybe we
But
just
it is. I mean, Loch
drive.
Ness is the long. Well, it's not the longest loch, but it's the deepest one. It's several miles long though.
I just think the farther we get away, the better.
Yeah, I think
They're
the boat-
probably going to be understandably upset.
The loch is.
Yeah, I think the driving's probably better than the boat.
The loch is 36 kilometers long, so there's a lot of space out there for you to sail out to if you want.
I'm thinking the Dagon people, so I'm thinking maybe best just staying in the car.
I mean, it's not connected to the ocean, so if they're ocean people, they wouldn't be connected to it.
So there might be like boats out there, and that might just, disadvantage in it. So maybe we just keep driving, I think.
It's up to you guys. What do you think?
I vote just drive until we run out of fuel. Hopefully it runs out of fuel when we get to someplace to hold up.
I mean, I guess if we're going to keep driving, we should probably go in the direction of Inverness. Maybe not necessarily go into Inverness itself, but if we like aim for something on the outskirts, like if we look for some kind of even like an isolated like farm outbuilding or something we could use to like hopefully look for somewhere we can rest and clean ourselves up before we try and go. I mean, like I guess if we go into like an urban area looking like we are now, we're probably going to raise a lot of suspicion. So, I'm guessing we should probably try and lie low for a little while.
But generally, just kind of book it past the lock and yeah. So as you're booking it along, at the point where the would-be road, or what's made of it at this point in time, gets closest to the lock itself. For those of you not driving, or maybe those who are driving, you can see a large thing in the water, just like bobbing above the surface. You can see the ripples of water alongside it as it's moving at speed parallel to where you're traveling.
Is it moving in the same direction as we are?
Yes.
Oh no. Oh no.
Let's take a detour through the countryside.
It's one road in one direction at this point. The thing raises higher up and it's like this large bulbous shape. It's very pale in the moonlight. You can see its long length body also kind of sleeking above the surface of the water. And it draws in closer, so it's only a few meters from the shore.
Step on it, Finlay.
I say a few meters, I mean like 15 meters. It's quite a distance.
Does it? I could take it looks hostile.
It looks large.
It's basically the same thing.
Might be time for the Voyager's song. Just give it a try.
Everybody in the car singing the song.
Yes.
Finlay, can you give me another driving test? 2 dice, take the best. This large, long...
Oh my goodness!
Flat, this large, insanely large, long, kind of flattish tentacle with huge suckers reaches out from the water, stretches easily across the length of the road and brings itself slamming down. But the skillful manoeuvring of Finlay and a last-minute acceleration edges your car just ahead of where the huge thing slaps down on the road and drags a tree into the loch behind you. You accelerate away down the path, leaving the thing far behind you, never to see it again.
Yay.
That was absolute jam.
Good driving skills.
So glad it's your driving ability. Yeah, I think I would offer to make people like forged passports if they want to like go somewhere else entirely.
Yeah, no, that would be fantastic. Let's just move somewhere and just never come back.
The whole scene about being on the shore and sacrifices and all that, we're never going to do it.
Where are you going for the Wicker Man? Where are they building the Wicker Man?
Kinda, yeah.
Because I thought, you know, with the robes, and then you mentioned building something with the lumber, and I was like, oh yeah, there's going to be a Wicker Man.
Like Clash of Titans when they tie the women up for the Kraken. I was thinking something like that.
Ah, yeah.
I was kind of scared that you were gonna have Gloria there, like the daughter.
I
like
thought about
you were
it.
with him. Yeah, that would have been so.
But
like, no.
they had Father Campbell, they didn't need to go extra effort.
So we won in the end.
Yes, the ritual can't take place because they don't have the stone to do it at the right time.
Yeah.
We won. You lose.
The power of shotgun.
The power of
However,
shotgun.
most
it
likely
explains
was
the rest. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. We are fucked. We've now interfered with and fucked with something plans that doesn't really have
Well,
to.
you killed the cult leader.
Oh, we killed him.
You killed Ferguson. He was setting fire and then shot twice. Like, he's dead.
Okay, well, you kept on acting like you didn't react at all, so I was like, oh god, he's still alive.
Well, you
I was
shot him, but
expecting him to be like sprinting after us.
yeah, you shot at him, but you didn't hang around to like watch and see if he's going to get up again or not.
I mean, to be fair, yeah.
Arkwright would still be alive, obviously.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, look at him. He's not living that long.
This is true. And you killed his lackey.
Yeah, so I don't think nothing's gonna happen for them, is it?
At least until the next, you know, stars aligning.
Right, so now you can explain. See, the Michael Thomas, was he the one in Rum Island?
Yes,
then?
I don't know why why you were convinced he wasn't him. He had the ring on. You saw him in the painting. He was the same man. He tried to call Nephron Ka, but he wasn't calling Nephron Ka. He was calling the thing from the stars because he's immortal. He didn't know what he was messing with. And when it came down, it was annoyed and it was going to lash out at him, but he had bound it so it couldn't escape. So it just kept him and tortured him until someone came along and freed it. But it didn't realise that killing him would set itself free. So it just kept him alive and kept torturing him.
That's interesting, because I was thinking like what we were looking for was going to be like a spell of binding, but I'm guessing if we had managed to procure that and had used it, it would probably have like trapped.
You had the spell for binding it, yes, because that was when he used, but you need to do it like in a certain place with the circle and all that, like he had. And you had to spill your own blood.
And even then, like the binding wasn't perfect. Like Nephron Ka could still mess with your head like he did Michael Thomas.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, you know, it would have been trapped in one of us, I guess, and we would have ended up the same way Thomas did.
Well, it isn't actually Nephron Ka. They think it was Nephron Ka. It wasn't actually Nephron Ka. It was something else that they'd called down, a lesser entity.
Oh, fair enough.
Nephron Ka had blessed Matthew Davidson at Canardy Castle. By blessed, I mean like it turned him into a monster, and that's who was in the basement.
Yeah, that's another question. So whenever we was leaving, we saw that guy's face, what happened to the rest of them?
Oh, he was like a giant spider shoggoth type creature, but he just has a human face on the end of a tentacle.
Oh, I hate it.
Oh, I'm so glad that we didn't venture there.
I mean, we did let it out though. I opened the door.
You did. You let it out.
Wait, so okay, was that okay? The thing that was in Kian's head wasn't Nefrin Ka. Everybody just called it that. Just thought it was.
Yeah.
So why did that thing want to let out that guy? The thing under Canardi Castle.
Because that was someone that had been blessed by Nefrin Ka, so it could have used or communicated with Nefrin Ka through it.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't really Nefrin Ka, but it was like a lesser being than Nefrin Ka.
It's another cosmic entity, but it's not a god, one of the cosmic gods.
Right, but his boss was Nefrin Ka or something like
yes.
that. Okay, cool.
But it needed the alignment to escape Earth's gravitational well atmosphere. It needed to be in a certain place at a certain time to ascend back to the stars again. But it couldn't just do that. It was also incredibly sensitive to light. You could have killed it at any time by shining car headlamps at it.
Did you know?
I totally never thought of that.
You did hurt it the first time when you had it with the flashlight, and that's when it went into Keen. Sorry, Hun, what you saying?
Did you know all the time that it was going to be Ferguson that was the main part? As in, he was going to be the sort of lead.
Okay, so Michael Thomas had the Cult of the Darkness, Nefrin Ka, and then there was the Dagon guys, and they were kind of competing for certain things.
I'm just thinking back at that.
Ferguson and Arkwright were both disciples of Michael Thomas, but obviously when Michael Thomas, gets himself killed, Arkwright is looking for a cure from anyone, so he will trade with anyone for power or immortality. And Ferguson is kind of like a warlock almost in his own right, and he is also willing to trade with the other cult for more power and more knowledge.
Oh, that explains it. Okay.
So they were disciples of the Darkness cult, but they just want power and immortality and stuff like that. They'll do it with anyone. So once he dies, they kind of start dealing with the Dagon ones.
Also, what was the thing with the tentacles that attacked us? Because that was the first time we ever saw that, right?
The Loch Ness Monster.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
It's the Loch Ness Monster. But the Loch Ness Monster is an avatar of Dagon. Which has been...
Is that what the Dagon cult were worshipping?
Yeah, they were going to summon it to help release it because it is trapped in the loch because it can't reach the ocean from there. So they were going to summon it and ask for gifts and powers and that kind of stuff to try and help it escape back to the ocean.
Oh, I see.
It's not that bad, is it? There's as in to the ocean, it's not.
They would have taken Fala Campbell on the podium, cut off his ear, throw it in the lake, cut off his tongue, throw it in the lake, cut off his eye, cut out his eye, throw it in the lake, and then they would have cut out his heart and thrown it in the lake, and that would have been the sacrifice.
I actually thought it was Cain that was the sacrifice.
No, the darkness needed a sacrifice to escape as part of its own ritual, and it would have killed Cain. Kind of. It would have left Cain's spirit alive, but you would have been trapped in purgatory, wandering around. No one could see you or hear you.
Oh, fuck!
So if it killed you, that would have been your fate.
Jesus Christ! Oh, that would have just been the worst. Wow, that was great. That was awesome. I'm surprised that we all still managed to survive.
Yeah, I mean, we got through. I was genuinely surprised that so many of us survived. I mean, press F for Dottie, but everybody else,
I mean, you had 3 6s in a row at the end. That's a crit at the end. I couldn't do anything more to you after you got a crit.
Yeah.
That would have been just hurting you for the sake of it. The other thing was Colin. He was dealing with the ghouls that lived in the necropolis, but because Mildred did the song right away, all the ghouls were banished right away.
Oh, no way!
So then
Woohoo!
he couldn't trade with them anymore because they were supplying him with stuff that was helping him with his experiments. He was taking a kind of scientific approach to using the magic and immortality. And he was doing that on behalf of Arkwright. And if you'd stolen his whole journal, there was like 12 pages or something that I wrote out you could have read.
Oh, wow. But, like, whenever they did the Voyager song, they just poofed?
Yeah, you only had to sing it once, and all the, well, at them, but you were doing it when you're at the necropolis bit. And they all got vanquished. If you'd have gone right deep down into the tunnels, you would have found the gateway, the portal that it came through originally.
Wow, so we literally just cleared the necropolis and never... Oh, also, the thing in the vaults under Edinburgh, what the fuck was up with that?
That was a failed attempt at summoning Nefrenka.
Oh!
All the cultists...
And that's still down there.
Yeah, all the cultists that were involved with that just kind of got merged together into a big thing. Except for Michael Thomas, who got away.
Oh, so he was a part of that ritual?
Yeah, he was the one doing it.
Oh my god, that sick bastard.
And yes,
Wow.
you're right, Callum, it's still down there. The cops just kind of like walled up the doors again. In the hope no one was in there.
That's
If you're
awful.
really quiet when walking the Royal Mile, you can still hear the sound of ghouls.
God, that's
Of
fucking awful.
Mildred's husband.
Yeah, he did. He's not just dead, he's like part of that thing now because they ate him.
Oh. That's
So he's
fucked
not
up.
really dead. There's a chance for Mildred to spend the rest of her life with him.
You just gotta make a trip
No.
down to the vaults.
She won't be doing that.
Oh fuck! I completely forgot. I left Bruce in the forest.
Oh god.
Woof!
No.
Woof! Woof!
I'm sure some crofter will take care of him.
Oh, I sure as fuck hope so, because Kian's like never going back. I'm pretty sure Kian's going to like leave Scotland forever and just never come back. Oh man, wow, what a trip.
Right, I'm gonna go because the cats are looking at me and they're like that, 10 o'clock bedtime, and it's now after
It's after 11. They're like, what's going on?
Yeah, they're just looking at me at the kitchen
Did
door.
you-
So yeah.
I feel really bad about having to do the lines on the map at the end, because I did want to do that, but I wanted you to kind of know where you were going when you were doing it.
No, that's fair. That's
But
fair. I honestly wouldn't have gotten that correct at all ever.
Well, I had a
I was
session.
actually going to go to that sort of part, like, to go out.
Well, you
but
did say
I-
Loch Ness,
yeah.
as we were talking about before, but I was going to have a session where you went to the store and you would have gotten more of a clue about it, but because of the way the sessions lined up, we kind of had to skip that one.
Okay. Oh well, it still worked out like pretty awesomely. What about the plague now? Now that the ghouls are gone.
Oh, I mean, that the plague was actually him just poisoning people. Because he needed bodies to give to the ghouls in order to trade with them.
Okay. So now that the ghouls are gone, now he's like,
He doesn't.
okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have any to trade with. So he might still kill people because he's a psychopath, but
Yeah. Oh man, that was fun. Totally expected to die. I actually, how I imagined what it was, because I was under the impression that Nefrenka was like not really trapped, but was like more or less like I have to stay in this body, otherwise, whatever. So I was under the impression that like, if it gets real bad, Kian's probably going to like just blow his brains out.
Yeah.
As like a last minute effort. And then when you said like, oh, it's choosing to stay inside you, I was like, well, okay, then that's not gonna work.
What about you guys, Alan, Callum? Was there anything about it that you thought could have been better?
No, I thought it went really well. Yeah, no, I was really engrossed with it all the way through. I was surprised at how well the setting worked out, because I think when it's not somewhere foreign and exotic, you kind of think it's going to lose some of the mystique. But yeah, I thought it worked really well.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great fun.
I feel like if I do in the future, I'm going to space out the handouts more, so you're not getting tons of them like at the same time, because then it's kind of overload. And make clues a little, much more obvious, just like very on the nose.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you gotta like talk to your players like they're children. At least for me, I'm very dumb.
I mean, it's the first investigation campaign thing I've ran, so.
Oh yeah, well, if that's the case, that it's fantastic. Like, you did an amazing job. You definitely did a great job of like hooking me like some other horror stories, because again, I'm not a big horror fan, but like you've definitely told this story in a way that's like, oh god, I gotta know what happens next. I just have to know.
Yeah, like here's a hole that's really, really creepy, but the answer is down there, and it's like, well, fuck yeah, we're going down there to get the answer.
Yeah, like, even whenever you would argue against, like, you guys know you don't have to go down there, we were all like, no, we do have to go down there because that's where the answers are. Even if we weren't entirely sure if there were, we just had to get the answers.
I think you were sorry, Alan, I keep talking.
No, I was just going to say, it still makes me laugh thinking back on how we did the one where we did go down there, but then we were just like, nah, let's not, and came back out again.
Yes, I think you would have gone down a lot more holes or deeper down them if my wife wasn't there to pull you back.
Yeah.
I like it. It's your Laura was fantastic in the sense like, no, we need to go. No, we don't.
Yes, it was very Scooby-Doo.
Oh yeah, no. She's great fun. I like poking fun at her, but yeah, no, that was awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, because I was nervous about. I think I've got the pacing down for like horror ones now, but when it came to the investigation side of it, that was something I really wasn't experienced with. When to give clues and how often to give handouts and how much to reveal and whatnot.
Yeah, I think the pacing felt like it was spot on. I mean, it always felt like we were making progress. There were times when I did kind of sit and think, oh, where do we need to go next? What are even our options now? But
yeah, that's what I'm saying about maybe making things like when you do get a clue that is very on the nose, so it's clearly signposted. Did you feel like you've got enough decisions about where to go and what to do, or did you just feel too led?
I definitely didn't feel led. I didn't feel railroaded, and I didn't feel forced down a route.
Yeah, it was. I think I do agree that like, yeah, if things were a little bit more on the nose, we probably would have had a clear idea of like, okay, this is obviously connected to this. We need to go here, but I don't think it was railroaded or anything like that. I think I feel like you definitely did the right thing, kind of like, giving us a little hint, like, hey, you did find this, roll a die, and then,
you're doing it like
here's some extra information.
When you're doing it like every 2 weeks, I think you definitely need to remind people, by the way, you have this thing, because people can just forget that naturally. And the characters wouldn't forget things as often as, the players do.
Yeah, 100%.
After you'd been to Rum, I mean, you could have literally gone to any of the 3 I think it's 3 locations in any order. But I'd arranged it in a way that, you know, it didn't matter too much which order you did them in. They would kind of tie together in the end anyway.
Yeah.
Although if you delayed going to the dig site, it might have moved, like where the stone was or something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was still great fun for my very first horror like Call of Cthulhu game. That was very awesome. I love it. You've definitely got me a little bit more interested in Call of Cthulhu games. So.
Well, that's always good. Yeah.
I remember doing Call of Cthulhu one time before, and I remember just using like a stock character. Like it must have been like I went out one of the guidebooks or something, and I just randomly chose the guy, but he turned out to have like massively overpowered stats for some reason. I remember that did feel like it was getting a bit silly after a while, because it was just like, yeah, I've kind of taken the easy mode character here.
I mean, I'm not 100% sold on the system that I ended up using for this one. The one I'm using for the Deep Green game, which is also Cthulhu themed, it's kind of like this, but it's more like the trophy system that I'm used to, and I think it actually works better. You don't have a choice of stress, pain, wound, which I actually kind of like. You just take harm and trauma. So it's kind of more forgiving on the stress side of it, but the physical side of it can be pretty severe. And you have like anchors, and you can call a flashback with your anchor whenever you want to try and heal stress or harm, but you have to mark off the anchor, so you can only do it so many times. And then on like if you've got a free downtime that you're not healing, you can create a new anchor to try and keep yourself going longer. So if I did that again, I'd probably use that system, I think. Okay, I'll let you go because it is late.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks, that is definitely one of my favourite campaigns I've ran.
Yeah, it's been a blast.
That was
very
absolutely
fun.
good fun.
Have fun, guys.
Yeah.